no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past and the pettiness. A reflection of the emptiness, hilarious. You think you're worth my time, you're delirious, mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make it.
Look, Kendall got here just at the end of the song. We're live, honey. You probably are muted, aren't you? She's at work, so this is going to be trial and error. She was busy. And I can't hear you. Okay, while you're getting that worked out, I'm going to go to the comments real quick. Hey, everybody. I think I hear you.
I'm here.
Okay. You busy?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Hey, everybody coming in. Ty, hi, honey. I hope you're still here. This might be upsetting to Ty because she knows I'm not like this. LM Dragon, hello. 420. Rebecca. Greg Rose Green was asking to make sure you were going to be here. They wanted to hear from you. My random chick and Bubbles. I don't want to miss anybody. Inside the Purple Purse. Hey, hun. Cutting Board. 1980. Belladonna Bates. Hello, 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 everybody coming in on this beautiful Sunday. I hope it's beautiful where y'all are at. Hey, Mummy Brown. Chrissy, hello. The weather tried to kill us last night. Like, we had a horrible storm and literally a small area. Nobody else around me had it, but we were slammed. Like, my house shook. I was freaking out. And then it was cold again today. Like, I can't with this.
It's been sunny here.
Now the sun's out today. It's beautiful, but it's chilly. Like, I had to turn my heater back on. Like, I go from AC to heat, AC to heat. It's insane.
It's windy.
Hi, Not My Monkeys. That's a new name, I think.
I like it.
In Austin. Yeah, see, that's how it is over here in Beaumont, Mummy. It is like, it's beautiful and gorgeous and cold. Chilly, not cold. I mean, it feels cold because we went from nearly 80 degrees to this. But, well, I'm glad everybody's having a good Sunday. We were trying to do this yesterday because Kendall was actually off early yesterday. But it was not working schedule-wise for a lot of other people, and I was trying to make sure I had a lot of people in here. Kendall's going to address a few things first. But here's what we're going to do. There are going to be people in this chat that don't like each other. Block each other. Don't sit and argue in my chat about other bullshit. I will tell my mods who to mute and who to block. And it's I don't tend to block many people. Hey, Christy. It's gloomy where you're at. You're not that far away from me. Why is it gloomy there? I am doing something today, guys, I don't normally do. This is so out of character for me, but I have been pushed and I'm pissed. So, with that being said, I'm going to let Kendall address some things that was thrown at me when I was on Tottie's live the other day. This isn't at Tottie because Tottie didn't do this. I'm not upset with Tottie. It was people in the chat that were accusing me of things, and Kendall wanted to address that. So, you have the floor.
So, Brandy was telling me that there was people in Tottie's live. I guess, I don't know if it was on the panel or in the chat. I understood it to be in the chat.
It was
Is
in the
that
chat.
correct?
Yes, in the chat. It was commenters.
That is trying to blame Brandy for her going live on Colleen. Brandy had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was all me. I wasn't even friends with Christy back then. So I know at one point in time, Fancy tried to say that Christy influenced me to do it. Me and Christy weren't even talking back then. Me and Brandy were friends. I had discussed it with Brandy that I don't think, and I still stand on this mountain, that I do not believe it is right for anyone to have anyone's medical records. Period. I don't care if you're Jeffrey Dahmer's medical records. I don't care. Some things should be private. So I never agreed with anyone having Gypsy's medical records. And this was before I was very anti-Gypsy back then. So it wasn't even that I went after Colleen to do something good for Gypsy or to try to defend Gypsy. It had nothing to do with that. I just stood on the fact that Fancy was a total B, and she just
An
kept
absolute cunt. Let's just go there.
and she just kept just antagonizing, and then they come out with this big thing, and you know the waters parted, and all the answers were there because Colleen supposedly took the medical records and solved the puzzle. Well, what I didn't like about it was I also did my own research and found out that certain things had been added, like the hypersexuality is nowhere connected to that chromosome deletion. Nowhere I can find it. And I have discussed this with Colleen since, that why was that thrown in there when it's nowhere? She went herself and looked and couldn't figure out where the hypersexuality got thrown in there. And I asked her, you know, did you look all this stuff, or did Fancy send you stuff, or what? And it was a combination. Fancy had sent her some stuff that she had found online. And of course, Colleen, having the education that she's got, did the best she could do with her education. She's a highly intelligent woman. And she did her own research, but she also used the stuff that Fancy sent her. And Fancy's the one that added in the hypersexuality that she's used on Gypsy. Even when she was a teenager, we were all hypersexual as teenagers, or most normal teenagers are.
All of my 20s, I was hypersexual.
I mean, you know, that's what you learn as you're coming into yourself and you're maturing. I just don't know anybody that wasn't very curious and just, I don't know. But anyway, I had a big problem that was just thrown in there because it made everything that they found fit with the story that Fancy had always told. And Gypsy doing, now remind you, this was before I supported anything with Gypsy. And before I'd ever had my first conversation with Christy, ever. So I couldn't understand when I was totally against anyone exploiting medical records And then to add stuff in there that doesn't even go with what we know she has, which is the chromosome deletion. Just, she needed that extra little something added in there, and it was nowhere. And I don't mind to be corrected if somebody else has found it. But I even talked to Colleen about it later on when me and Colleen become friends. And yes, we are still now very good friends. But I talked to Colleen about it and wanted to know, how did this end up in there? And she couldn't even explain it to me. The best she could come up with is that sometimes these chromosome deletions, you could have the schizophrenic, which we know Gypsy doesn't have, and that hypersexuality is connected to like schizophrenia. She said that's the only connection that she could find that had anything to do with a chromosome deletion, which wasn't the type that Gypsy had. So and this was, I filed against Colleen before Colleen and I ever had that conversation. I had never spoke to Colleen before I filed with the board.
I'll be right back.
I kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with whether or not I would or I wouldn't. Would I or would I not? Because it's just not something I never wanted Colleen to lose her job. I wanted there to be accountability of taking these medical records and using them against another human, no matter what that other human did. Because it's private medical records that whether or not they were given to Colleen, Fancy, or anyone else, they were supposed to have been given back. That doesn't mean give the originals back and I'm going to keep the copies I made. You're supposed to be given back. And no matter how I feel about Colleen today or Fancy today, I still stand on Gypsy's medical records is none of nobody's business or anyone else's business. Like my medical records, anyone's medical records should be there. Something should be private in our lives. So I wrestled, just very much wrestled with the idea whether or not I was going to file with the board and say, this is what this person's doing. I just need to know whether or not this is ethical or, what the situation is. And I spoke to several other people about not them pushing me to do it, but several other people also was going to go to the board. Some of these people that were going to go to the board were not going to do it in a way that was
they had nefarious intentions. They didn't care whether they hurt anybody. They didn't care if everything they said was legit. They were just
right.
All guns blazing.
They didn't care if they had facts. They didn't care if they were twisting other words. They just wanted to hurt Fancy and was using Colleen to hurt Fancy. That was never my intentions. I made those people the promise.
Everybody that's coming in, Kendall is sharing a few things to address things that were said in Toddy's the other night. Not by Toddy, but that were people in the chat accusing me of things, and Kendall wanted to clear that up. So that's what Kendall's doing right now. And then I'm going to get to the dirt on Fancy. So, sorry. I just had a bunch of new people come in.
So anyway, I didn't want these other people who I knew were not doing it for the ethical reason. They were doing it just to hurt. So I told them, I said, let me do it. Just let me do it. Y'all don't do it. Let me do it. And I sat on it for a while. And still went back.
Let me ask you this question because I know the answer and I want to ask you. Can you name a few of the people that were helping you with information?
No, I'm not bringing no one else into it.
What about the one that's accusing me of being involved?
Oh, Rez? Yeah, Rez helped us hunt videos to send in. She helped me in Tatiana both.
So Rez now trying to play innocent on that and throw it all on me. She actually had a hand in it.
She had a hand in when me and Ty needed certain information.
Okay.
And she knew that we were filing with the board. And I said, do you have, because we all know that Rez, she is a bank of information and old videos, right?
Yes.
And
she's got a lot of good information. I mean, she comes with some good stuff.
Yeah, she's amazing when it comes, and she's very organized. You ask her And it would be amazing to me when I would say, I need the video where Colleen's claiming to be something she's not, or Fancy's claiming to be, there's something about her, the degree or something, I forget. And of course, I went to Rez and said, I need this for the board. Can you help me find it? And she found the best that she could, because what we were trying to find, actually, we never did find. So I didn't turn that part into the board because I wanted facts on the letter that I wrote, right, to the board. But yeah, I mean, she didn't have a hand in filing the board, or to the board. Me and Ty needed help finding stuff, and she knew it was for her to file against Colleen. So, but she wasn't one of the ones that was going to file. She's not one of the ones that I asked, please don't do it, let me do it.
She just gave information.
Yeah, she didn't have anything to do with that. I just needed some information.
I wanted that out there because she's been trying to play innocent and then throw it all on me. And I had nothing to do with any of this. Like, I didn't even know what happened until Fancy contacted me, raging.
I didn't want you to know, because I knew that she was already mad that I even brought it up.
Well, and that was kind of like me letting out the video. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you mad at me.
I personally, like I said, wrestled with the idea whether or not I would do it. So then I thought, well, I'll just scare them, right? I'll just say I did and stop using someone else's private medical records, which now so many people have. But at the time, it was just Fancy. And I just it was so freaking wrong to use anyone's private information.
When was this? Do you remember exactly when this was?
Wasn't
this like,
I'd say March or April of last year?
Yeah.
I would think, but I mean, it went on for months and months. After I filed the first letter. In the first letter, I was going to send them evidence of everything that I had brought into the letter. Stuff that they claimed, using the medical records. And I never sent the evidence in to prove it, because I was never after, and I know this, everybody's going to say, well, why would you file with the board if you didn't want to take her job? I never wanted to take her job. I just wanted accountability, that y'all can't do this, because Fancy kept telling her she's not doing anything wrong. She's not doing anything, even if it wasn't wrong legally, to me, it's just, as a nurse, it was unethical. Right. So I put out that I was going to file it. I had sent the first email asking questions to the board. I didn't file the actual complaint. I wrote the first email asking questions to the board, gave no names, gave no nothing, just what if this was a situation? Is this ethical? Well, they wouldn't give me any information, but I made a video that day that said I had contacted the board, of which I did. I just left Colleen's name out of it, because again, I just wanted, is this ethical? Is this against the law? Is this something that's legal to do? Is it right for a nurse to go after someone else, on a platform that's getting paid to destroy someone else by their medical records, right? So I put out a video that day saying that I had contacted the board. So Fancy makes a video and says, guess what? Kendall, I will never forget the way she said my name. We contacted the board today, and there's not been anything filed from Colleen, and you're just a liar. So the next morning, the letter that I completely had wrote up with everything I had attached to it, I took the attachments off, because again, like I said, I never sent them the evidence to prove it. I took the attachments out of the email and sent the email and filed an actual complaint with the board against Colleen. And it was only because Fancy made that video that I was the liar. So time passes. I never tell Brandy, because during times where I would discuss whether or not I was going to do this, Brandy was never okay with it. And me and Brandy also were not tight then like we are now.
We were just starting our friendship. And
our friendship.
What people are forgetting is Tori and I had actually told Colleen One, she needed to get away because people were going to report her because she had all of her information out there publicly. She wasn't protecting herself. And I warned her. This is what people are talking about doing because we were seeing it everywhere. People were talking about it all over the place.
But every time somebody would try to warn Colleen would send those messages to Fancy, and Fancy would throw them up on her YouTube for clicks and views to destroy the people that were.
I'm laughing at this comment. Words you will never hear, and Fancy made things better.
So is that like nobody could warn Colleen to say, hey, there was some people that if they would have filed with the board, it would have been worse because of some of the things they were going to say. Now, some of the things they were going to say or plan to say was what they believed to be true, but I knew it was twisted, just like the stories that are out there now are so twisted from the real truth. So I knew the things it was just going to be really bad. So anyway, time went by, and Fancy's saying that I blackmailed her and all that, and it was just ridiculous. Some of the stuff that Fancy was said. I never denied doing it. I never said anyone else helped me write it. Nobody else did. Nobody convinced me to do it. Nothing. I just didn't tell no one that I actually had done it. So I forget where I was going. Was I headed to Texas, Brandy? When you send me this email or this text message,
yes,
yeah,
and Texas,
yeah. So I had to admit to Brandy because Brandy was lost. I never told Brandy I did it.
Yeah, because
so Brandy's coming after me.
I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So and by this time now, because this is months and months later, when they were finally contacted, that the board had been contacted, me and Brandy had gotten a lot closer over those couple of months. And it kind of hung like this dark cloud over me that I knew I eventually was, going to have to tell Brandy. But obviously nothing was going to happen because nothing had come of it, right? We hadn't heard it. We knew if Colleen had been contacted that she would run to Fancy and Fancy was going to tell the world and nothing like that had happened. So I thought, okay, well, maybe they just read it, dismissed it, and nothing was going to happen. Well, sure enough, something did happen. They opened up an investigation into Colleen. And, Fancy runs with it. And I text Fancy. I got her number from Brandy because she was saying she was going to rain hellfire down on Brandy and everybody connected to me. I wasn't upset that Fancy was upset with me for filing against Colleen. I did it. I will take the public scrutiny. I don't care. I chose that, right? But leave people in my circle alone because they weren't involved. So I'd sent her a text message. She used that text message and just twisted the hell out of it and said that I was blackmailing her. And it turned into this big mess. Again, I had never spoken to Colleen. Every time Fancy would do a live, she'd still bring up Colleen that, look what they've done to Colleen. They're going after Colleen. They're trying to ruin her career. That Kendall, that bad Kendall. Colleen contacts me one day. And that opened up a avenue of communication between me and Colleen, which will always be, and Colleen knows how I feel about this. Fancy knows how I feel about this. One of my biggest regrets in life, as far as not even just social media, in life, is messing with that woman's life. I will always regret it. And when I started talking to Colleen and asking questions, because I come at her just as hard as she come at me. And she didn't really come at me just if this is what you wanted, this is what you're getting. And I come at her hard the first conversation or the first text message back and say, wait, when you're telling this story, make sure you tell the part that you're the one that used someone else's medical records and added stuff in that wasn't even a part of this diagnosis. And that opened up more communication. We started talking. She started telling me her side of it. And there's things that she told me that I know Brandy doesn't agree with this, but there's things between me and Colleen that she has told me about her time at the Good Wives Network and being involved in things that I've given my word I will not ever speak. I will not hurt her. I actually won't hurt Fancy either by putting out a conversations that's happened with me and Colleen over this last almost year now. And everyone's got their side of the story, but what I found in Colleen was a very genuine and very highly intelligent, very naive, and I don't want to use the word weak because she has succeeded in so much in her life and overcome so much. But when it comes to standing up for herself, she has a hard problem doing that.
Well, Fancy has a habit of attaching herself to, and the word weak is what we use, but it's not, I don't mean this negative
Yeah,
towards
I don't mean weak is not the word I should have used. It's just she doesn't know how to defend herself.
but she grabs people like Colleen and Titania and Mac and even Ryan. I know a lot of people don't like Ryan, but Ryan can be a pushover as well to an extent. Then when Ryan has enough, Ryan comes out guns blazing. But she grabs these people like that she can bully and bulldoze and have her way. And that's just how she is.
So after getting to know Colleen on a much deeper level, I mean, we talked there for a while, at least 3 or 4 times a week during this time. And I realized that she didn't lose her job like the internet said, but because she was under so much stress because of what I did to her, she quit her job. And though she's got family that would financially help her, she's the sole provider for her family. And at the same time, we got Fancy over there opening up laptops and, all this stuff. And this was all during the same period of time. And then I'm talking to Colleen and she's financially struggling.
Let me just say, when she's opening laptops and I'm over here knowing that Colleen's over there suffering and she's not even going to her people, not one time did she go to her supporters and say, hey guys, I'm starting this GoFundMe to help Colleen.
And she could even use me. Look at what Kendall did to Colleen. And now she don't have her job. She, because Colleen, like I said, she didn't get fired from her job. She voluntarily left because I put her under so much stress. And I offered to help her with her house payment. She wouldn't accept it. All I could do, she would not let me financially help her. So all I could do is try to fix what I did because after talking to Colleen and I learned the other side of the story, I couldn't be upset anymore with Colleen for what I was originally upset about. So I started then contacting the board, writing the board, sending proof of videos that it was never Colleen saying it. There was, a short video that Colleen did where she was reading stuff off, but some of the stuff that Fancy was saying Colleen was saying, it was never Colleen saying it publicly, which is what I had made the report on. So I started sending, the board as much information as I possibly could to let them know. In fact, I tried to just pull the complaint. And they said, no, once it's filed and it has been investigated to the point that, yes, we are going to open up an investigation. Because when you file a complaint, they look at it and then they decide yes or no. Like, if you file something and they don't think it's worthy of even wasting their time, they're going to say, no, we're not going to let it, there's not going to be a complaint. We're not opening up investigation. But this had gotten to the point that an official investigation was opened. So I wanted to just pull it. They said, no, it doesn't work that way. After it's an investigation, it's an investigation. So the best I could do at that point in time was give them everything I possibly could to prove that my original complaint was not as I thought it was. It was my mistake, not Colleen's, that the things that I was upset about, the twisting of the narrative, the making this puzzle fit, the hypersexuality and all that stuff being added was not even Colleen. And they had a little bit of communication back and forth with me, and months went by. And the more months that went by, the more stressed Colleen was. And then here comes this book. Fancy wants to put out this podcast that she says that she wrote a book, and it's literally just the podcast transcribed. And Colleen was a part of the podcast back then, and she was so very upset because her beliefs then do not line with her beliefs now. And she didn't want to be part of the book. And she hadn't left the Good Wives Network, mostly out of fear of retaliation. And I want to say this too. I do believe that Colleen absolutely cares a great deal and loves Fancy. And I believe that Fancy loved Colleen in her own way. I never will doubt that after speaking to both of them. I believe there is, as much as Fancy can care about someone, there's always going to be an exchange, though. I'm going to care about you for what I can get out of you, kind of thing. But on Colleen's side of it, I really believe Colleen seen Fancy as a mother figure, and she loved her. And she not only was she scared of retaliation, but she was scared of hurting her. And so I'm not going to get into all the details of that, but Colleen
let me just say this. I talked to Colleen very recently. She messaged me because she kind of caught wind of me being frustrated, want to know what was going on, if everything was okay. And she told me life is so peaceful with her being away from everything and out of the
everything. Yeah.
And working, and she's dealing with an injury and she's got her kids and her family, and life is peaceful and happy and amazing, and she's great. So I would appreciate those that want to run around and say that Colleen no longer has a job and that Colleen is miserable and da-da-da-da-da. Shut the fuck up.
Colleen is better now than she was when all this started. She has actually thanked me after it was over now, not during it, but after it was said and done. She's actually thanked me and said, "Oh, I'm not going to say what she said, but I'm not going to say what she said. But I'm just saying that
Colleen did the best that I can, because I don't think she deserves anything. She's afraid people bringing it out lately and coming at me like they did. She's afraid people are going to contact the board again, and she's really out of everything. Like, she's not involved. She
don't want involved, but she wanted out way before I even filed the complaint. So that little twitch that Fancy's trying to twist is false. I don't know if Fancy's convinced herself of it, or maybe I told Fancy one time that I think Colleen, and Colleen, if you're listening, I'm just going to tell you what I said, because I do believe to a point it was true that Colleen sometimes just told Fancy what she wanted to hear. Because she didn't want no problems with Fancy, and she truly cared about Fancy. She probably still cares about Fancy. But anyway, after about 6 or 7 months of me fighting it for the last probably 90 days, I mean, every other week I was communicating with the board. No, it was dismissed, completely done. So Randy told me the other day that they're still trying to say that she's still under investigation. No, she absolutely is not. I have the email to prove, because not only was Colleen contacted, but I was also contacted because I'm the one that filed it. All investigation is off. She was clear. Everything was done. She's good. There's no marks against her license, no strikes against her license as far as them finding wrongdoing. She's good. I know what she's doing in life. She is dealing, because she's clumsy. She is dealing with now her second injury in the last few months.
It is crazy. And I was like, girl, how the hell did you do that?
In fact, her first day at her new job, that she's so happy, she walks in, trips on a rug, and breaks her leg. Her very first day.
Like, she beat me on the klutz department. I'm like, girl.
But she is an amazing girl. She doesn't want anything to do with drama. She doesn't want anything to do with the true crime. I've asked before for everyone to leave Colleen's name out of their mouth, especially if they don't know what they're talking about, because there's been so many lies spewed in just the last couple of weeks that Brandy's told me about that involves Colleen. And Colleen's right now living her best life. She's out of the drama. She's out of the true crime. She don't want nothing to do with anything. She wouldn't come back if you paid her to come back.
Mm-mm.
And it has nothing to even do with the board. It has to do with all the drama that started once Gypsy got out of prison and all the drama. And she didn't want her credibility, her professionalism ruined more than it already was by anyone saying something that was her findings or her beliefs when only parts of it was hers.
Okay,
So,
let's go to the next subject because I think we've covered everything with Colleen and what needed to be addressed. Alicia.
oh yeah, Brandy had nothing to do with that.
When did that happen? Y'all were on TikTok? Were you live on TikTok?
That was when they had her on the panel.
Yeah, I
Sarah,
wasn't even on the internet that day.
Pink Cat left Fancy, and as soon as she left Fancy, she starts telling me about the young girl and all this stuff that had happened. And I knew that Fancy had gotten the laptop, but I never knew who sent it to her or anything like that. And Sarah's now, is talking to the young lady and telling her, she ain't got to do this. And I know that Sarah tells people she always told the young lady that she didn't have to do this and all that. But those messages come after the fact. Her telling the young lady to don't give Fancy no more money. They know where you live. They looked up your address. All of that happened after Sarah left Fancy. Those messages were sent to me. That conversation, as Sarah tries to spin it, that happened when Fancy told Sarah to give the young lady something to do. That's not when those conversations happened. It happened after the fact. She never said anything like that to the young lady until Sarah was gone away from Fancy and was trying to throw Fancy under the bus about it when Sarah was just as big a part of it as Fancy was. So I was really good friends with someone else that's no longer around. And she works with adults that are challenged in that way. And I was telling her about it, that I can't believe that. And at this time, I didn't know Sarah was involved. I thought Sarah was her protector. I just thought Fancy had done it to her herself or allowed it to happen. I was telling this person about it. She works with, adults like this, and she was very upset. She's also a mandated reporter. And she told me, she says, this is so wrong. This is illegal. This is, wrong what they're doing. And I was having a conversation with her. That's as far as the conversation went. The next day or later on that evening, this same person calls me back and says, I got their phone number. I know the family's, the mother and father's phone number. And I can't remember if she had already contacted them or because it's been so long ago. I can't remember if she said she was going to contact them or she already had contacted them. And she said, but no, she already had contacted them because she told me that the father told her that he was going to let this young lady think the police contacted him because this young lady will not listen to mom and dad about saving money. And that the father was going to let this young girl believe that the police contacted him so the young lady would listen instead of it just being in one ear and out the other. And later on, this same person told me a lot of things about the situation at home with this young girl. And it turned into a mountain because, the family was trying their best to protect her, trying to get her to quit giving people money. And the young lady, of course, let Fancy know. The young lady believes that it's a police officer that contacted her because that's what the father said. And again, Brandy had nothing to do with it at all.
I didn't even know
Nothing.
till like the next day that it was going on because y'all were telling me little bits and pieces of it. And then I had somebody come at me sideways. I'm like, I don't even know what we're talking about. Like,
So between the young lady and Colleen, me and Brandy had our first come to Jesus meeting. We've had many since then, but we had our first come to Jesus meeting as her telling me that, listen, I can't be connected to this real life stuff because I didn't want the other person that actually made the phone call exposed because she didn't want her job contacted. She still, as far as I know, nobody knows who it is. Brandy knows who it is, but
and
Christy,
they're not anywhere around, but I'm not outing them. I'm just not.
yeah, Christy knows who it was.
There's been
My
others who point
circle,
to it, but it doesn't. There's a few in the chat that don't know who we're talking about, and it just, I'm not going to do it. It's done and over with at this point. But Kendall was protecting her.
well, I gave her my word, and you know how I am. I give somebody my word, whether I fall out with them or not. I'm going to try my best. Not always, but I try my best to keep my word. So anyway, I didn't want this person. She, like I said, even back then, she wasn't. She don't make content or anything. So I made it appear in a live with Brandy that the father had been spoken to, and it even gave Brandy the impression because after the live, Brandy come at me saying, "I didn't know that you had contacted him." I said, "I didn't. So and
I
so
was
did."
totally shocked when you said it. I was like, oh, what?
As you know, I said I didn't, but I don't want people to go after her. And so Brandy had nothing to do with that either. And Brandy told me that she can't, and people at that point in time knew that me and Brandy had gotten to that ride or die phase. You know, our friendship was going to overcome most things. So whatever I did, she was accused of by association. Whatever she did, I was going to be accused of by association. So Brandy come to me and said, "I listen. I've worked hard building my platform. I don't believe in going real life on people. And because of the Colleen thing, no matter where you and Colleen are now in y'all's friendship and relationship and anything, still, you know, it could have destroyed her life." And then everybody running with, I was the one that went to the family of this young girl. I can't be connected to that. So I told her, I was like, okay, I get it. You know, I understand. I said, I will completely shut my platform down before I will lose you over my actions. And I was willing at that time to shut everything down I had, and my account was growing like crazy. I was doing the AIs back then. I said, I'll shut it all down before I risk my friendship with you. And from that point on, Brandy still understands that, or should say, I understand where Brandy stands on going real life on people like that. And it was not something I ever believed in either. And that's why I say it will always be one of the biggest regrets. And the best thing I can say about the whole thing is I met a beautiful friendship in Colleen, and she knows how I deeply regret it. And I will always take accountability for it. I can't say it enough that it was all me. And I have broken my own heart because I can't stand the fact that I did it to her.
But she's
But anyway,
and like
yeah.
I told Toddy the other night, and Toddy agreed. If Colleen is okay with it and has forgiven you, then everybody else needs to shut the fuck up.
But I will always regret it. It doesn't take it away that I did it. But for someone, anyone to say you had anything to do with it, I know you absolutely did not. And if you did, I would say, yes, you did. But it was one of our first real arguments. And it wasn't even really an argument. It was more like I felt like I just disappointed you. So
and it was one of those things that like, I didn't know how to deal with it either, because it was like I just was so uncomfortable by the whole thing and where it was going that I didn't want to have to get up here and be a bitch to you and the others that I liked, because I wasn't okay. It bothered me. It just really bothered me, and I had to let you know that. And it was our first bump in the road.
Yeah.
And the next one was the video that I released. Oops.
Yeah. Yeah, which I would have never, like, you know, I still apologize to Sarah that the video got out there when I did not know. I really thought Fancy put it out. In fact, I told Sarah I thought Fancy put it out because the timing was just
I didn't mind everybody blaming Fancy. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was hilarious, and it was fitting.
But I apologize to Fancy. And I mean, and to Sarah, I'm still sorry it got out there because I did give my word.
I'm
And
not. I wanted the world to see that those two were full of shit. So no, I'm not. I'm still
and
not.
I get that. I get that there's the big lie around it. But like I said, I told her I wouldn't, and I still gave it to you. And like I said, my son, bless his heart, when I told him I was so upset with you that you did it, and he said, "Well, Mom, who gave it to you?" And I said, "Sarah." He said, "Did you tell me you promised her you wouldn't share it?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Then why are you mad at Brandy? You did the same thing to Sarah that Brandy did to you." So I shut the hell up, and me and you got over it, and we're good now.
Which
We're
we
good
would have
now.
gotten over it eventually, anyways. We would finish talking it
Yeah,
out and we moved on. And
yeah,
because in the
yeah.
end, it really is just minor. It just is minor.
It's the friendship with me and Brandy is a lot different than these most of these social media friendships. Most of social media friendships is if you do something that makes me mad, you do something I don't agree with, I'm going to out you and blast you, and that's not me and Brandy. Our
Well, but
fights
that's
are
where we're
private,
going. That's a perfect segue into what we're going to do today. Because so,
and
um,
This is Brandy's idea.
yeah,
This is this is
this is
this
me.
this
Nobody
is
else has
this
asked me.
is.
I take this back. My husband has been telling me for weeks to do it. Um,
I keep telling Brandy, "Are you sure?
and I've
You need
struggled
to
with
call me
it.
and talk to me. Are you
All of my
sure?"
mods can tell y'all I have struggled with this. Now, Kendall's not in our mod Discord because she doesn't do Discord at all. But I've wrestled with this and I've sat on it, on this thought for over a week. But
And I'm
in
still going to stop you again and say, "Are you sure this is where you want to go?"
I know, and I'm going to go slowly with a lot of this because this goes against everything in me. M420, the other mod isn't here. Steph have known me longer than any of you guys. They have known me through the Facebook days with Natasha and Fancy. They were actually Natasha mods and hated me. M420 was my boy. She was my thorn in my side. Like she was hardcore on me. Hey, Navigator. Throwing dinner in the crock pot. Well, lady. Thanks for stopping in, Nav. I don't ever get to see you enough. The Navigator's from the Facebook days.
Yes,
I'm not
Christy, we definitely have a sisterhood, me and you and
you
Brandy.
do.
I love you both so much.
Um, it is unlike me to share anything told to me in private. Um, we and me and M420 have had a fight. We had a falling out. God, what was it, about a year that we just did not talk? She didn't share my secrets. I didn't share hers. She was even approached for somebody to try to make her give up secrets so they could come at me. And she didn't do it because it really had nothing to do with anybody else. It was something between her and I. Um, I'm not taking this lightly because I know what people are going to say. Oh Lord, did somebody be ugly? Y'all don't be ugly to each other. Ignore each other. If you can't stand looking at each other's comments, block each other. Just there you go. Okay. Please. Thank you very much. Have a good day. This is about Fancy. Y'all want to drag Fancy? Y'all go right on in there and drag Fancy. All you won't leave each other alone. Um,
I hate it that people. I hate it that some of the ones in the chat are have problems with each other because I like most of them, and I hate that they're fought between each other.
and that's why I kind of try to get people to understand. I'm like, like, look, just because I like content creators that are totally against Gypsy, I don't go into their Gypsy content because I don't like it, and so I don't deal with them when it comes to that. And I try to hold a boundary, and sometimes it struggles, but
I mean, I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I mean,
right,
I understand their
we all have
frustration. I just liked it when we all got along.
right. It will, and look, this is what happens. I've seen this happen. We've all watched this happen with other cases, and it just explodes. Um, And so, for those that are coming in, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you give me a thumbs up, please. That helps me with the algorithms. And I do have a goal. I'm learning this new thing that YouTube does with these goals. It's really kind of cool. You set goals and for super chats and whatever else. I'm learning to grow my channel, and it's a fun thing. And so, y'all bear with me. Boston didn't do anything. What are we talking about? No, Boston didn't do anything. Boston's fine. Boston's fine.
What's wrong with Austin?
I don't know. What did I miss? Did I miss something?
I don't know. I'm only seeing every other
We're trash
chat.
talking fancy. We're trash talking fancy. Back to it. Come on. Back to it. Boston,
I didn't see her do.
I love you,
She's
Boston.
taking her thumbs back. Don't take your thumbs back, Boston. We need your thumbs. I love you, girl.
I know y'all have there are people in here that you guys have had a falling out with, and I get it, and I understand it, and I love you all. And so it's fine. So with that said, my husband said the other day, I said, babe, you know how I am. You know that I take people's personal details to the grave. I don't like I share with him because like the man forgets what he had for dinner. Like he just his memory sucks. I'm surprised he hasn't come in the live to give me a hard time because he's in Indiana right now. And I'm trying to watch. Okay, mods, I'm gonna let y'all keep up with chat. Mods are not muting and blocking anybody unless I tell them to. But if something pops up, y'all text me or Discord me if I need to. I can drop a link for y'all to come backstage if y'all want. Y'all just let me know. Because I want to be responsible for who's removed out of my chat, and that way nobody gets blamed but me. Because I'm owning my words. I'm gonna stand on what I do. Look, what I'm about to do is wrong.
Yep.
It's wrong.
Yep.
100% wrong. I'm going to own that. I'm going to own it. 100% wrong. I know it's wrong, and I know you're going to drag me for it. It's okay. Because here's the thing. Fancy, she's hit me with 2 copyright strikes. YouTube turned one away because it was a clip of something that she had said about me. I was talking before it. I did the small clip. I did it all in fair use according to what YouTube requires. The next one, hold on, I need to look at this. Okay. I'll get it in a minute. She'll be all right. I don't know what happened and it exploded, but it's okay, guys. Boston, we love you. I love Boston's attitude. Just like I was getting taken hell for laughing at stuff Key said on Pink Sands. I think it was Pink Sands. It might have Dreamers panel one day on TikTok. Look, they crack me up because they zero fucks and go with it. And I'm all about that. Be you. Be true to who you are.
Doesn't mean we always agree with everything somebody says.
Right. I just look, I love that people can just own it. Be them and own they are owning it, right? And so it's fine. And I get it. Never mind. I'm gonna keep moving. So when thank you guys. Thank you, Crystal. I get it. I get it, guys. Look, okay, get into the tea. Let's do this. Come on. Focus. Y'all making me lose focus. When she
make her lose focus. Go ahead, make her lose focus.
When she hit me with the first one.
Can I say something before you do this?
Huh?
Let me say something before you do this. I completely understand Brandy's frustration and wanting to do what she's starting to do. I don't agree with her doing it, but I understand why she got here. Those of y'all that know her and how hard she's worked on her channel and how she babies it and loves it, it wouldn't matter if there was 100 people or 100,000 people. It's her baby. She loves it. So I don't agree with it, but I understand how we got here.
Well, and I could have done this in a way where I could have given it to other people for them to run with it. I could have emailed Morbid. Morbid would have a blast with this information. He's probably going to use it from here, and that's fine. But I could have hid behind that, right? I could have hid and given it out and given 2 fucks, right? I'm going to own it. I'm going to flat out own what I fucking say. So when she hit me with that first strike, I ignored it. I laughed at it. I posted about it and moved on. She has hit Cutting Board Dawn. She's hit 1980. She hit Toddy. She hit Morbid. She hit, there's another channel. Her name is Barb. What is that? Straight Out of Content or something like that. She's hit her.
She got Morbid too?
Oh, yeah. She's hit everybody with copyright strikes.
Wow.
Everybody.
I didn't even know Morbid played videos. What little bit I've watched over there is just a bunch of people talking.
I think he does. And so, because I don't watch a lot of it either, his lines are too long and too insane for me. It's not my cup of tea, so I just stay out of it. Straight out of context. Okay, that's the one. Yep, that's the one. I think I've seen a little bit of their stuff, not a lot of it. I'm spitting all over myself. And by the way, I just had to look, y'all. I colored my hair because them roots are driving me crazy. I'm like, I'm surprised nobody's talking about my roots. I colored my hair and went back purple, purple, purple. So, not my metallic purple, but it is, yeah, total squirrel. And my roots were driving me crazy. They really were. Yes, LM Dragon Fancy has been super, super busy. So the other day, do y'all remember when I was on Fancy's panel in the very beginning of her and I befriending, and we were sharing the Discord that Kim had sent us, Crafton's wife. It was Crafton's Discord with him, Resident Midnight, and Belle in it. Do y'all remember that? I can go to her channel and pull it up and show you. I'm not going to play it because I'm working on this copyright. So she hit that video, right? I am on her panel. When you're on StreamYard, you can, if you're a content creator, you can connect it. Yeah, I have to give permission. The person that owns the channel has to give permission for it to go to play on the other person's channel. Ryan does it all the time with Fancy. And so I have made sure Ryan knows to protect herself, because as soon as she speaks out against Fancy, Fancy's going to strike her too, because there's quite a few videos. And I know how important Ryan's channel is to her.
That's her job now, isn't it?
Yes, she makes money on there, and it's her therapy. It is how she does. It's her thing. And
she still pops up on mine every once in a while. I love watching the animal ones.
Yeah. And so, but for one thing, she had the content she had to show, she got from me, because Kim gave it to me. I had permission and shared it with her so that we could go through this stuff. I mean, hell, she pulls up messages that Crafton has for me with my full name that she never even blocked out. And we're communicating, we're talking about it, we're breaking it all down. It's a collab video we did together, and she copyright struck that sucker. And YouTube has flagged me with a copyright, 3 copyrights, and they take your channel. So I have countered. They have accepted the counter. She now has to take me to court. She now has 10 business days from, I believe it was Thursday, I'd have to look at the exact date, 10 business days from that to show that she's taking me to court. So she could still take me to court, and I'll fight it. I'll go to court. I'll go to copyright court. I mean, I don't know how much. She had told me that Crafton was showing her how to do that without it costing her a lot of money. Maybe he has. Maybe he hasn't. I haven't messaged him. I haven't messaged him yet about it. Because look, I wouldn't, we saw how he fucked me over with Rez and Belle. He could do it again. I don't know. Don't really care. I will fight on this because I have the truth behind me on what happened that night with that live. I did not steal her content. If I had stolen her content and was stream sniping it, you'd have seen me down here on the little bottom with the screen share and her thing playing. Not me actually on her panel communicating with her and Mac. So fuck off for that. And because of that, I am now pissed. Super pissed. Inside the Purple Pros, I would help with legal fees, and I may hit y'all up on it because I'm done. I'm done. I am so done with her. So there are a few things she shared with me. And there's many things over the years. And I do have phone calls recorded, and she knows that I've done that. And I may actually play it.
That was my idea. That was your idea.
But I have one that's recorded from 2 years ago. Whenever it was, the network shit happened with me, her, and Tori. She was on the phone with Stella. And
Is
Stella,
that the one you sent me?
Yeah, I think I sent you bits and pieces of it. Yeah. Yeah, because it's almost a 4-hour phone call that I recorded.
And I don't believe in recording phone calls, but I didn't like that Brandy was going to give Fancy. I understood. Christy's the one that made me understand that she needed this truce with Fancy to get to the bottom of everything that Tori did to both of them. So I shut up and got out of it. The only words of advice I had is, Fancy's never friends with anybody unless she wants something, and I think you need to cover your ass and record phone calls. So.
And Mozzie, I agree with this. Mozzie says, I guess we're back to Boston over here. Mozzie says, Boston can be mean as hell, but she is hard for her cause. LOL, nobody's ever fought that hard for me like she does for her people. And she fights to the death for her people. And that is a very good attribute to have. And I do admire that with Boston and with Crystal and with Planty. And they do right hard for their group. And that is a very nice attribute to have. It just is. And I am building that same circle around myself.
They're good women.
And y'all can see I'm struggling with this. I'm so struggling.
Yep.
My husband said, babe, she's fucking lost any right she has for her privacy to be protected. She has gone low. She has destroyed people. The things she said about Christy alone, to be honest, I know some of y'all may not like Christy. Christy gives two fucks whether you like her or not. And that's just fact. Like that's conversations we've had. Like Christy's like, y'all don't give a fuck.
It bothers Brandy more than it bothers Christy.
It bothers me like crazy, and she's just like, I don't care.
It used to bother me, but it don't bother me no more.
I just said something to Kendall going, see this right here. Like it drives me nuts.
It don't bother me anymore either. Because it don't bother me because I know how Christy feels about it, so it don't bother me.
Right, Plenty, and I do love Boston. She gets upset with me often, and that's fine. We're human. I'm just trying to keep. I know there's certain things, and I know the stories behind what's going on in the chat, and so I'm just trying to divert everybody to make everybody stay happy-go-lucky and just pretend like you don't see each other or kumbaya. Sing kumbaya. There we go. Roast some marshmallows.
Yeah, I don't know everybody's problems in the chat, and I'm glad I don't. That's why I left.
Fancy is careless. She is careless. Y'all seen how she is on here, right? And how she runs her mouth about things half-ass, shares half-truths, and it's harmful to people. But she's just as careless in her own home. And maybe you have a problem with substances when those substances get left on the ground for minors to get a hold of.
I didn't even know about this. Till what, 2 days ago?
Yesterday.
And I was like, what? Which I got more details. I got a lot more details.
It was Friday that I dropped it in our circle chat to tell you and Christy what I was going to share.
Yeah, and I was like, what? She gave me a lot more details than she's saying now. But
Fancy and her gummies could have cost them seriously in their home. So maybe Fancy's family should take some action and get the woman some fucking help. Come at me, bitch. Kendall said, game on. Game on. You want to go there? You want to tear people apart? I was going to save all this if you went after Dawn, but when you came after me and my channel, nope.
You knew you crossed the line, Fancy. You crossed the line when you lied to YouTube. If Brady did it, then do you copyright. But you lied to YouTube to get this copyright just to take her channel down.
Kim, you're right. Her packing when she's on that trip with Sarah, knowing that Sarah's not supposed to have a weapon, she could have gotten Sarah in serious fucking trouble if she was actually packing. Guys, I have serious doubts.
I do too.
And maybe somebody that struggles as financially as they do, maybe her husband shouldn't be shopping for so many fucking Hot Wheels. I don't know. That's just a weird thing. But I digress. That was another petty. Something I saw on TikTok. It's just crazy.
She knew Sarah's background. Sarah's been very open about her background. She knew she wasn't supposed to have a weapon with her. If I was in Sarah's situation and me and you went somewhere and you brought one and didn't tell me, but then used it against me later?
Because you can be stopped for anything. And Sarah could have gone to jail immediately over that. Like, that is bullshit.
They would have never even believed Sarah. If the cops would have said, because Sarah was driving, if the cops would have stopped them, the cops would have asked, depending on why they stopped them, of course, but they would have said, any weapons in the car. Sarah would have said no. said no and would have been being truthful to the best of her ability. Just still just infuriates me. I know
No,
Sarah's
no,
not my
I'm not a
favorite person,
Sarah
but it
fan.
infuriates me that she put her in that position.
I'm not a Sarah fan at all. Don't get me wrong. But I do agree that Sarah was traumatized and tormented by this woman. And I've never taken away from that. I have my issues are completely separate than that. But she could have gotten her in trouble. And so when you talk about the gummies and the money, you know, the supporters' money that she spent buying all those fucking gummies, I don't know what gummies cost because I don't buy them. I've literally had one given to me one time. I ate that sucker and never again. Never again. That is not my thing. And my son was like, "Mom, you should not have done a whole gummy." I'm like, "Yeah, now y'all tell me." He's like, "Well, you didn't ask." I'm like, never again. And so I don't know how
Chase
much.
would absolutely divorce me as his mother if he found out I did something like that. He is so anti-drug anything. If he found out I did a gummy, he'd be like, "What? Who?"
Wait, Christy says, "Wait, everyone, this will be all my fault too." But what's new? So I told her, I was like, "Look," because she said she was coming, and I said, if you want to be in your real account, that's fine. I totally understand if you don't, because you know you're getting the blame.
No, Christy didn't find out until I found out 2 days ago. Brandy thought she had told me. She put it in mine and Christy and her chat, and I'm like, "What?" I went back to just Brandy, just mine and Brandy's text, and I'm like, "What? You didn't tell me this."
Right. So, I mean, they were in trouble. There was some things going on, and that's why I'm like, I do not understand why her daughter is not putting her fucking foot down. Get your mother in control. She is going to cost you the most precious thing in your life. Get your mother in control. And y'all, Fancy told me this. We were just barely talking. I was floored. I texted Kendall and said, I can't believe she's telling me this shit. Like, she didn't have
But you
any
didn't tell. But you
that
didn't
going.
tell me what she was telling you.
Yeah, I just said that they had a CPS issue is what I told you. That was it. I didn't tell you
Hey,
why.
I don't even remember you telling me that.
I think I did. Hell, I may not
I
have.
swear to God, I don't even remember you saying CPS to me because my radars would have went off. I swear I
So
don't remember that.
they're saying
I'll have to
$35
go back and check.
for 10 pieces. See, I wouldn't know. Is that good price? I mean, that sounds kind of high to me, but I don't know.
I forget what Sarah. I think Sarah told me she spent
Okay, so Kendall,
$60.
remember me when she says, Kendall, remember when Sarah told us watching April and her family in the parking lot before she picked her up? She talked about that on Into the Weeds, I believe. It might have been with Toddy as well, about how they were fighting and losing their shit over going to buy gummies. They were late and couldn't go to the infirmary to buy gummies. Is it infirmary? Is that what it's called? Whatever it's called, where you go buy the legal gummies. I don't know. It's not legal in Texas, so I don't know.
Yeah, Sarah told us that. Yeah.
So I mean,
And I believe it. I believe it.
there's a serious issue going on in that home. Dispensary. There we go. Thank you. I was like, is it infirmary? It's dispensary.
That's weapons.
See, we don't even, because we don't have that
No,
here.
is it weapons or is it hospital? I think infirmary is like a prison or army base. I don't know.
Where you go when you're sick. Sorry, I was.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, Trent, I don't know if she's worth with or without, because I don't know when she's taking them and when she's not, to be honest. Look, so Fancy got her
I
genie.
don't care that she takes them.
I don't either.
I mean, it's not illegal. A grown woman can take what she wants. I never agreed when people dragged her for whether or not she was drunk or not. That's her business. She's a grown woman. She's at her home. She wants to drink. She can drink.
Well, but don't sit there and drink and then say you're only acting that way because you have auto brewery syndrome. No, you're fucking drunk. Own the shit. Own it. Fucking own it. So
can I ask questions? Because I don't even know if I should ask questions.
well, yeah, you can ask questions.
Did they close the
I have
case?
another story. I have another story I'm going to share. We're just going to hold off a minute.
Did they close the case, or is it still an open case? I mean, is everyone okay? Is everyone okay? Did it hurt him?
They had to go to the ER. That's how CPS got involved. And she was mad because the family was blaming her. I wonder why they were blaming her. Yes, AK, I do remember you reaching out. A lot of people were like, what the hell is going on? Because our messages were blowing up when she was in the car screaming and raging and all the crazy shit. And that was when Mama Dukes was still alive and she had gone in and she had just kind of come on the scene trying to calm things down. And
But didn't she say something about
Michelle,
CPS
go
shipping?
away. Go
What?
away. Goodbye.
What?
So CPS came to April John's house, not Gypsy's. Deflecting. Got it. This isn't about Gypsy. This is about April. So nice try.
Gypsy's a good mom. A damn good mom.
Misunderstood. So this explains why she's so whacked out all the time. Normal people don't scream and flip out like she does all of the time. I can agree with that. Thank you, Bubbles, for gifting. And if you got the gifted membership, make sure to thank Bubbles. 420. Little plug for Brandy. She makes amazing tumblers. She's probably got 4 or 5 tumblers. Oh, yeah, the body language where she was flopped on the couch. And that was weird. That was the weirdest live I've ever seen in my life.
Is that the one with when Ryan and I forget the other girl's name was trying their best to get her to drink or eat and get offline?
That was when she was in the car on the one on the couch. She was just like, it was weird. I can't even mimic it. It was just weird.
I remember one of her on the couch and Ryan. I can't remember the other girl's name, but I think they were both. I think the other girl was at least the mod for her at the time and was. I mean, they were trying their best. I mean, in their defense, they were trying their best to tell her just, take a drink of water, take a break, go get something to eat. And she's like, I'm fine. And again, she's a grown woman. She can do what she wants to.
Yes, Mommy. I know I can go get the non-THC gummies at the Delta 8 or whatever at the Shaman store. There's a couple of places you can get them at, but the real stuff ain't legal here. Oh. Okay, now I see what you were saying. Okay, Michelle, sorry. I thought you were kind of going at Christy and them. Never mind. Sorry. I apologize. I took that comment wrong. She says, wow, bet it was the time she started the rumor CPS was at Gypsy's taking the heat off of her. So I see what you were saying. Now I get it. Okay. Whew. Sorry. I got irritated.
Way to go, Brandy.
She wasn't even being ugly. I was like, stop it. Don't deflect in here. But she was talking about, hey, now I get it. Sorry. Please forgive me. So let's talk about her genius thing. She tells everybody she's a genius and has a genius IQ. She took that test on Facebook. Yeah, it was a Facebook test. Auto brewery. She was diagnosed with auto brewery because she was in the hospital once again. I don't, in my opinion, allegedly and for entertainment purposes only, somebody goes to the hospital nonstop with ailments because they're seeking pain medications. But
Brandy,
I digress. I said allegedly and for entertainment purposes only. I mean, but she's in there. They can't find nothing, never find anything. And Amanda and her daughter are Googling symptoms and come back with, oh, look, auto brewery syndrome. Now she has auto brewery syndrome. Now, she claims that they found it when they were in New York for Christina's funeral and come back with that's what she has, but she's never proven that. Prove it, and I'll take that back. But just say it.
Sure, there's a lot of people that say they've got college educations and degrees, but they never prove it.
If Facebook says it's true, then it must be true. Dawn, I don't know. Dawn says, should she be taking gummies with auto brewery? Which I don't believe she has, she says. I don't know. I have not looked into that. But I know that she shouldn't be eating the carbs that she eats with auto brewery syndrome because carbs turn the sugar to alcohol.
I thought she was diabetic.
She is diabetic, supposedly. But when her and Tori went to New York, she did nothing but snack junk food, like big bags of the gummy bears and shit.
No, look how she ate on camera when her and Sarah went to Missouri.
Mummy Brown says, hey, a Facebook test told me Keanu Reeves was my future husband. Well, I like the comment. Facebook holds up in court of law. I think it said I was supposed to be married to Jason Momoa. I was like, okay, that's not even my husband, but okay. Yeah.
Goodness.
So this is a good question. Aren't people not supposed to be able to have firearms if they're taking cannabis, or was that just medical cards? I can't answer. I don't know. Maybe they can. I know that my son got in trouble for having weed in his truck and a gun. So, and it was literally half a joint, and he still got in trouble. So I don't know. What is auto brewery? Does that mean she's drunk all the time? I mean, maybe that's slang. Maybe. No, it is a disorder that turns the sugar and the carbs and stuff to alcohol. So you have to limit those things in your body. She admitted that she did that for pills. See, I don't know.
I just see in a pattern of accusing other things of happening or taking place, just like the story about CPS at Gypsy's house, which never happened, but yet CPS is at her house. Like deflection.
Right. And that's what Michelle was saying. I'm so sorry, Michelle, for kind of coming at you sideways. I thought you were trying to say that I was deflecting on the Blanchards. I'm so sorry. I feel like a shit now. Because I was expecting people to kind of come in and be shitty. So that's why I was like, And she hasn't been over here in a while. She was kind of coming at me kind of hard for a minute on TikTok. So I was like, not too sure. Sorry. It's the thing where your own. Okay, never mind. She was. Hi, Navigator's back. Anyone convicted of anything, they cannot be around firearms. If you have a felony, you are not allowed to own a firearm. Not necessarily convicted of anything, because I have a misdemeanor on my record, a couple misdemeanors for bad checks. Remember, Rez has shared that all around. And I can own a firearm. I have one. Now they are starting to crack down more with mental health, but sorry, what?
You said Fancy don't have a felony though.
So she was charged with a felony, but pled down to a misdemeanor.
Which is what happens a lot of times.
Right. I'm trying to go through the comments real quick. Okay, I'm 420. Be careful, hun. Michelle, I just kind of get sideways because people get really funky in here, and they've kind of been coming at me sideways places. And the last time I had seen you would kind of coming at me a little sideways, so I didn't know if you were coming in to me sideways. And so I just kind of, and it's not about Gypsy today.
She's got her deflectors up because she gets mad at me. So
yeah, it's been.
She's had a hard couple of weeks.
Well, when she came at us about the Katie Joy thing, and we were like, look, we want nothing to do with this woman. Quit attaching us. Like, I had Plenty and Bree were like, Brandy, did you just see what she put with you going after the Blanchards? And I had already texted Christy because I had already seen it, and I had already gone at Fancy on panel about it. And it was like, I don't want people thinking I'm involved with Katie Joy. I want nothing to do with her. And it pissed me off. And then she kept doing it. And then she was working side by side with her. And all Kendall and I did was say, hey, we're backing out of everything. We want nothing to do with her. And she just went south with us, and it went downhill from there. Yeah, she goes by Fancy, but we call her April. As a matter of fact, after this live, I will probably put Fancy and Gypsy's names as words not allowed to be used in the chat. Just ready to go on. Kentucky Chick, I'm glad you got to come in. I don't get to see you much.
When did this happen?
Which one? What?
The one that you're telling everybody about, was that before Aurora was born or after? I'm trying to figure up in my
I
head
don't
when she
I
was
don't know
accusing.
the dates. I honestly don't know the dates. But well, you know what? She told me before because we weren't speaking after Aurora was born. Because remember, we had our
Okay,
contact with her in early December.
okay, that's what I was trying to figure out because I remember her saying something about CPS at Gypsy's house, or I don't know, I can't
And then
remember.
she came around in January and tried to play nice, and that's I have a recorded phone call on that one, and I may play some of that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Hi, Twitchy Brave Soul. Thank you for coming in. I miss you too. Kitty Joy. Fancy April Panty says. Can we just
Katie Joy is yeah.
can we can I be petty? Can we just call her a see you next Tuesday and not any of those other names? Asking for a friend.
You know who I feel sorry for?
Who?
I know
Me?
what. Nah, you tough. Um, I know a lot of people might not feel this way, but
Hi.
I think Mac is a good woman. I mean, I know she kisses Fancy's ass, and I've had my opinions about her in the past just because she kisses ass. But to
420, you're going to have to
have a
specify which whack job. 420 says, what about whack job? Oh, call her whack job. Oh, yeah, we could do that too. I was like, there's a lot of whack jobs. You have to specify. Sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted.
no, I think Mac is a good friend to Fancy.
She is. Mac and Ty can agree with this. Ty will know. Mac is a lot like Christina, and I told Fancy that. Mac is a lot like Christina, and Christina, one thing about Christina is she loved Fancy with everything in her. God rest her soul. Um, but when I talk to Mac and when I listen to Mac, Mac is just like Christina. And I think Mac is hurting right now and struggling. And I do hope that she's okay. So if she's listening, Mac, I did reach out because I do want you to know I'm here. And
I mean, I've never talked to her.
thank
I
you,
just see
Michelle. I appreciate that.
how she just seems to adore Fancy, and she's one of her biggest "you get it, girl" kind of stuff. You know, like I know that soft stuff makes us gag, but I just I don't know. I feel bad for her because we all know what happens.
Well, and anytime anybody leaves, y'all see how she does. When somebody decides they don't like her no more, she goes nuts. Like she was all in about Dawn Balker and wanting her to defend her. But as soon as Dawn was like, I am not lying for you, she turned on her and she's a drug addict now and can't be trusted. And, she did the same to Ty. She turned on Ty when Ty wanted nothing else. When Ty wouldn't give her what she wanted, is what it boiled down to. And, even went so far as to say that Ty had Munchausen. So, like, Ty, stay away from her. Please, Ty, stay away from her. Please, please, God, stay away from her. Yes, JJ did part ways from her. I am so happy for JJ. I've talked to her a couple of times.
She texted me when we were still talking. She texted me one night and said something about, I forget the girl. Was it Ada? Emma? Emma? Is there an Emma? I think it was a girl named Emma. I didn't even know who the girl was, but she texted me and said, well, Emma jumped ship and is over there lying. And I was like, I don't even know. I literally text back and said, I don't even know who that is. They all leave.
Dawn says a Facebook test told her Cinderella's castle is supposed to be her home. Her and Disney, she cracks me up. She loves Disney.
Oh, Christy sent me a picture of this board she made with this big mansion on it that she said that when
Oh yeah.
She made all this money off of Gypsy. She was going to buy this house, and
When it was all of us. It was me and Fancy and Christina and Ty and Colleen and all of the others that I'm not going to use their names because they are not around anymore. I don't even know that any of them are on these platforms. We would have these discussions planning by proxy, and she had a vision board, and she had her home and her cars and the rings and the stuff, all the things that you put on a vision board of what was going to happen when we won the Emmy. And we
when
had
she got
talked about who was going to
name,
have possession of the Emmy for how long, and who was going to rock the red carpet because only a certain amount of us could go. And like those were those were conversations that happened. Like she had,
when she was going to get her name in lots.
yes, yep.
Oh, by the way, Gypsy's names in lots and her pictures on
Yes,
the billboard in Los Angeles.
I should have got that clip. How's it feel now, Fancy?
Way to go, Gyp.
That is kind of funny. Sorry, y'all may not. I know some of y'all in the chat don't like Gypsy. That's okay. You have that right to not like Gypsy, but you got to think it's got to be fucking funny when Gypsy's got her name in lights and Fancy's over there. That's what she wanted, and she is pissed right now.
What I think is funny is Gypsy's name's in lights because all the haters has pushed her up that enough people watch that she's where she's at. If nobody gave a shit, they wouldn't keep doing another, more seasons and wouldn't put her name on lights and her picture up.
Yep. It's funny. It really is funny.
Haters is literally why she's where she is when it comes to all that. It's not us supporters. We're not putting her name in lights. We know what's going on in her life. We don't have to watch Lifetime. Thank you, haters.
All right, so let me think. Yes, Roberto, it didn't work out. She sent me a clip. Okay, hold on. Oh. You know what? I'm going to have to put that up on TikTok and on here and tag her in it.
Hey, what?
There you
Gypsy's
go.
billboard.
I know you're watching, Fancy. How does that look?
What are you putting up?
The picture of Gypsy on the billboard.
On the billboard?
Yeah, I'll have to put that as the thumbnail.
Didn't Gypsy make the New York Times bestseller too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna send it. I gotta do this. Hold on.
Hey, Christy, you might need to give the picture of that house to Gypsy and let her buy the house. You can't wish bad. You can't wish bad. Good things happen. You can't lie about people.
Looky there. Let's see. Where is it at on the screen? Let me make sure y'all can see it. Let's put us here. This way y'all can see this nice and looky there. Hey, Fancy. Check it out. Gypsy's name in lights. Don't that sting just a little fucking bit? Okay, I feel better. Michelle, that's my understanding. And in even the conversations I've had with Max, she is a sweetheart of a person. Super amazing woman. And I know from my experience, hey, Ozzy, I've missed you, girlfriend. I know what it's like to try to get away. And I know what it's like for other people that I have talked to when they try to get away. It is hard. It is a struggle. It is. She doesn't make life easy. Y'all have watched how she drags the fuck out of people and the shit she says about people. And
The lies about Christy alone. So many people have this. And I'm not saying that Christy's innocent by no means, but everyone's got such a wrong impression of, y'all say Fancy's a liar, but yet you believe her when she's talking about something y'all want to believe. She's so not who y'all think she is. She's quite boring, actually.
she really is. I'm like, really?
We're not going to be boring in May, though.
No, because you're coming to Texas and we're going to have us a fun time.
Yep. Chrissy's going to meet us.
Look, because I'm going live, guys, and we're going to share all the fun we're having and all the trouble we're getting into. So, what did y'all know? Did y'all know that on Reddit? I didn't know this, but did you know on Reddit that? I mean, Reddit's a cesspool. We all know that. But did y'all know?
I don't do Reddit.
Did you know that there's a whole sector of Reddit where you can find people that want to have sex with married couples?
Hey, Ozzy.
And would it shock you to find out that somebody's birthday was ruined because somebody did not appreciate that? And it's not me, and it's not Kendall, and it ain't Christy.
My birthday's September. My birthday ain't been anytime soon lately.
Question is, how did I find it? I was told about it. I was told about it by the See You Next Tuesday. Mommy Broad, no, I don't need this in my mind from the name Fancy.
Christy woke you up. I don't know. Brandy told me this one too, and I was like, what?
Yes, Michelle, that letter is pretty. Like, I knew that was there. That's why when Fancy tells all of y'all that Gypsy threatened her life, that never fucking happened. She would be blasting that shit and would have blasted it back then. That never fucking happened. But she was fired, and that letter was spot on. I was so proud of Gypsy when she wrote that email. That's when I told everybody, that's a woman who's grown, y'all. Have fun, Kentucky chick.
It was probably one of the first times that Gypsy actually took control after everything was said and done. Everybody else telling her story and trying to, tell it their way.
Well, not
asking for privacy.
Fancy's not the swinger, but somebody else in her home might be. Allegedly and for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, time to cry. I'm like, I've never gone to look because I'm like afraid of what I'm going to find if I go into that part of Reddit, because Reddit is a cesspool. Like, Reddit is bad. I never would have thought to look for that there. Never would have thought to
What? What is it? Is it just where like singles go to hook up?
I don't know for sure, but evidently you can go on there and find people that want to have sex with married couples. And oh, do I want to go there?
No.
It ain't sitting right just yet. There's more to the conversation.
And I think there's things you don't need to say.
I mean, she did tell everybody she had a fans only page. I'm just saying. Maybe it's not her
Yeah.
fans on the page. Maybe it's Craig's. That I don't know. I haven't looked. Yeah, see, Kentucky. I was on Reddit there for a bit with snark pages, and then they all blocked me, and so I don't even bother. But now I'm on there for my house flipper thing, my game that I play on the PlayStation, and like
She tried to get me to join, and I said, I don't do Reddit.
yeah, I said you need to go look at this back when we were on the snark pages. She wouldn't do it.
I don't want nothing to do with Reddit. It's a cesspool of toxic
When I shared the
bullshit.
story, when I was telling Kendall about it, I wasn't thinking about Dave sitting right here next to me, and he just says, "Seriously, I was not needing that vision. Thank you." Like he was not happy with me. He gets so mad at me because he can't stand fancy. He has never liked fancy at all. And I didn't want to do this live when he was home because I didn't know what he would say sitting here, and I didn't want to get flagged for the shit that would come out of the man's mouth.
Mm.
Yeah, random chick. There, I do find quite a fun, interesting things on there. And when I Google looking up shit, it always throws me to Reddit more than it does YouTube, which is weird. But I did not know this side of Reddit existed. And I look, if somebody goes and finds it, send it to me. I don't want to go look. You can screenshot it and send it to me. I don't want to go look. I don't want my algorithm to change.
Surely he took it down.
I hope. I don't know. I know that she was mad because of the following that she has, finding them on there, and that was upsetting to her. She didn't want that to happen.
Oh, I thought you told me she was scared that it was one of the haters trying to set
Well,
set
that's
him
what
up.
she was. Part of her fear was that it could have been one of the haters pretending to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Need a keyword or this. I wouldn't even know what to look for. Seek out the fancy segs, Brandy. Look, she done pissed me off. She's trying to come from my channel the wrong way. Like I didn't do anything. I didn't have any content about. I had one thing about you, and that was flat out me showing the clip of you running your mouth about me. That's it. And you want to falsely copyright strike me? Game on, bitch. Game on. Don't think I won't come with
Well,
the other conversations.
I started to say if she does it again, and you've got the recorded phone calls, they can hear it out of her own mouth. If she rightfully does it, then she rightfully does it. It's your own fault. It's your own fault if you put stuff up, and she's got a right to do it. But this last one,
Well, look, y'all all know I have my issues with Tori. I think Tori's just as bad as Fancy. Not gonna lie. Give zero fucks about Tori. But don't forget that Fancy put out Tori's child's sexual identity and mental health issues. That wasn't out here, and that child's not even on social media. And she fucking put that out there being pissed off. I'm still pissed about that. Ain't got nothing to do with Tori because I give zero fucks about Tori. But Tori deserves anything she fucking gets.
she made a T-shirt. She made merch.
Yeah, she made merch off of it. Like I'm not even
Dragon.
through Tori, but her child's off limits. I'm just gonna put that there for y'all to read that. Yeah, I still haven't forgiven her for that. And not even when her and I were talking the last few months. Let's face it, the only reason her and I were having any kind of conversations, one, was because I figured out what Dawn Brown had been behind. Two, was over Resident Midnight. That's it. That was the only reason we began those conversations. Now, did I miss the person that I can talk about cases with? absolutely miss that person. That person can't stay in that form though, because the mask slips and she becomes who she really is. And even Kendall was like, okay, now I'm seeing the side of her you're talking about. Now I
Yeah,
get it.
there's a side of Fancy that I really liked. I mean, when I told her that I was glad that we ended up talking and working some things out, I mean, I wasn't lying to her. I didn't trust her. And I kept telling Brandy that I think it's a mask, that I think that I'm going to be nice. And because she really wanted to turn me against Christy, which was never going to happen. Everyone knows that is in our circle is always up front with Christy over any conversation I had with Fancy, and sometimes even before I talked to Fancy. So it was never a secret from Christy, and she just always wanted to turn me against Christy, and that was my boundary, not going there. If she wasn't trying to go there, we were having other conversations. Um,
That
she
battle with Natasha was priceless, guys. That watching her rage quit that made my day. I laughed so hard. It was funny.
and I don't know why she would have like Ron battled Natasha, and they were decent to each other. They don't. I don't know if they got
She was
problems. I know that.
embarrassed that it was her birthday and Natasha kicked her ass in the first battle, wouldn't even do the second.
Yeah, but I mean, like as I said, like Natasha and Ryan ain't the best of friends, but they were decent to
Same.
each other. And I remember Ryan saying, she made a lot of money.
Same, Ty. She had all of us so spun. She had me and Ty hating each other. We never even really had the chance to have actual conversations because we distrusted each other so badly. And that is something. And she's like, she'll tell Ty, you didn't like Brandy and Brandy didn't like you. She does the same to me. No, we didn't, because we never had the time to understand each other. And we had this view of each other based on what she told us about the other person saying about each other.
Well,
So
she tried to do that with me and you.
she did. She tried several times with me and you. Several times she tried with me and you. And she kept trying to do it with me and Christy. And I'm like, Christy's off limits. I'm telling you, Christy's off limits.
And I told her if Christy was lying to me and she was doing stuff behind my back, and I found out that Christy was doing anything that Fancy accused her of, that I would say it out loud, because it would have killed me to find out, that Christy wasn't who I thought she was. And I would have called her out. But Christy's still just Christy.
Christy says, well, there's a difference. Ryan can be an adult and April is just acting like a toddler having a temper tantrum. Yep.
Yeah, like it benefited Natasha and Ryan. And they were very decent to each other. I don't know who won. I Natasha's got a huge following. It's just going to be hard to beat Natasha on
Natasha is
something like that.
always going to have supporters. She's just always had an amazing fan base, no matter what. And they're ride or dies, and can't take that away from her, no matter what my issues have ever been with her. And look, all of this shit with Fancy, she literally had me, Natasha, and Christy on Bree's panel shutting her ass down because she was trying to suck up to Bree. And like, she's literally on panel, and I saw the clip in the phone call I had with her where she goes on about 1 minute. She says in the phone call that Christy's behind everything, and then she turns around and says that she knows Christy's not behind it. But then on Bree's panel, she says the same thing. And we're like, of course, Kendall's like, you didn't clip us. Like, I didn't think to hit record. I was just trying to deal with all of it. And then 2 days later, she's blaming Christy for everything again. Like, make up your mind. You can't pick a fucking lane. That's what everybody is having a problem with right now, is that she, in the same two sentences, 1 minute she's for this person, the next minute she's against them. She's flipping her script in her own conversations. And
well, that's just like her throwing the Colleen thing at me. Even though I literally broke down talking to her about it, that she knows me and Colleen are good. And after the friendship was over again, she's still going, on panels, running around saying shit. And how many times did I tell you, Randy, that I could rip her heart out if I wanted to hurt Colleen or didn't care about Colleen and didn't give a shit about Fancy at all, I could literally rip her heart out. And because at one point in time you were like, I don't understand why you don't. Why you
And
don't tell
I
her?
have begged
Because
you to. I have begged you to.
yeah, because I know it would hurt her on a different level, and I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Oh, good. Ozzy has the clip. Ozzy, send it to me. Send it to me because I have a few clips of my own with her saying that and then changing it and then back and forth. And I might put a little video together. That might be pretty cool.
I thought we were done after this.
Okay, so I'll give it to somebody else to put it up. How's that?
I'm trying my best to get her to leave the
I
community
know.
like I did.
I know.
Like, just
Has anyone
leave.
ever truly
Move on to
threatened your
something
life?
else.
Random chick.
You,
Now, I do not like when was it Dorla? I don't even remember who it was that said we should take her to the alligators, or however it was worded. However, something about the alligators and I don't know. That to me could be taken that way. I mean, because those of us that live down here, we get it. Even though alligators don't tend to eat people, but it's the thought of But
nobody should be threatening her life. Nobody in any way, shape, or form. Nobody should be threatening her life or trying to make her hurt herself.
right,
That's not.
Chrissy says, I don't know if anyone's ever threatened their life, but I know myself and Gypsy never threatened her life. 100%. And I'll die on that hill. And you're right, Ty. Ty says Colleen is a very weak person. She has not done well since Christina's passing, and that passing affected Colleen worse than anything. She had her and Christina were extremely close. They probably had a truer friendship than Christina and Fancy.
Mm,
I think,
see,
in my opinion.
I don't know if I just hate that I said the word weak earlier too, and I hate that word because Colleen is she's endured a lot and is such still so genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
so I don't know if weak is the. There's just people that can't. There's people that hate confrontation, and then there's people that is just going to let someone wipe their feet on them. Maybe not so much because they're weak, but just because they don't want the confrontation.
They
I don't know.
struggle with
Maybe that.
confrontation. Some there
I
are
don't know. I
Tori
just don't
evidently
like the word weak.
supposedly was like that. I think Tori was just chicken shit and couldn't face the music because she was the
Yeah,
high shit. But
but I told you all along she wasn't weak. She was playing you.
right, and I'm not one that likes confrontation, but I ain't afraid of it, and you better bet fucking believe it. I'm gonna go head to toe because I'm a fucking bulldog here. I will flat out go at you. I am not
And
scared.
I just don't care when I'm done with somebody. I'm just done. I don't care if I'm done with somebody and they're still talking about me, waste their time. I don't give a shit. I tell everybody in my circle, don't send it to me, don't tell me, don't text me, don't show me, don't screenshot it. I don't want to know. If I don't know, it don't affect me. Talk all you want to. Make all the videos you want to. I don't care. Everybody besides Boston, I don't have Boston's number. There's
I like
everybody that I still want to talk to that I don't follow on TikTok anymore, I have their numbers. I don't have to have social media to talk to the people that I care about. That's why I was just ready to leave. Be done with it.
and I like random chick said vulnerable would be a better word for Colleen. And I do like that word better because weak does sound
Mhm.
it has a negative thing to it.
Yeah, I don't like the word weak
It's just not knowing exactly, but vulnerable is a very good word. Thank you. Thank you for
because the, it takes a strong person to raise a family, be the breadwinner of the family, and have the education and the
well,
stamina to have
and look,
that education. That's
those
not
of
weak.
us in this chat that have worked around Fancy, we understand how pushy and relentless and how crazy she drives you about things until you finally just do it her way or give up or argue and quit like me.
But I do believe she does try to surround herself with people she can control, which is why I think me and her were never going to be best of buddies. She couldn't control me. She knew she couldn't control you. And it just seems
She was
like she
trying to see
does
if she could with you.
surround herself. Do what?
She was trying with you. She was trying to see if she could get you that way, and she was trying to um
Yeah, I know she tried, but I had my boundaries. And we've had some conversations where, she would tell me one thing and I would give my opinion and she'd give her opinion. And sometimes we might leave that conversation of one of us saying, I can see where you could get that opinion from, this situation. Like I told her not that long ago before the last time I talked to her was, I know we don't agree on we don't agree on much, but I like you. Um, and she says, Ken, I think we agree on more than you know. And she knows where I stand with Christy and with Gypsy.
I just sent you a phone number I was told to give you.
Okay. That's the only one I was missing. I think I have everybody else's. I think I do.
Wait, I never heard that, Ozzy. She says you worked with the FBI.
Who?
Ozzy. She said that Ozzy worked with the FBI.
Oh. She was supposed to be sending FBI to my house, but they never showed up. I was waiting on them.
I mean, look, for what, over a year now, she's been saying I was part of corporate espionage and RICO. Like, that's why I jumped in the whole Sebastian Rogers bullshit on the RICO case. Because I'm like, look, somebody just got accused of RICO. Let's go here. And so and y'all, I've been down that rabbit hole even more this week. Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll get that here.
I was wondering why nobody recorded that live, because usually those girls are on top of that stuff. I never seen any of it.
Just humble opinion, but illegal. Okay, hold on. Let me put it up here so everybody can see what I'm reading. Just humble opinion, but illegal to threaten somebody's life. So if you can prove it, get a restraining order, period. Call your lawyer immediately. To hell we don't play in Arkansas, Alaska. Just the drama. I have a phone call, and this has nothing to do with Fancy. This has to do with the old Ren Fair owner here locally who threatened my life. And I called the sheriff. Actually, I called the lawyer, and I called a lawyer and talked to them. And I could have used a lawyer, paid all those fees, and the lawyer could have filed it all in the court. But then all that really does is give me a piece of paper that if they break it, I have to pay the lawyer again to take the person to court. So what they told me to do is call the sheriff and make a report. I called the sheriff, made a report. They called them and said, hey, here's the TPO. You're not allowed to go around them. Don't go to this person's house. This is your warning. If you go, we're going to arrest you. So that's how we did it here. And that's the only reason I've never done one with Fancy, because in the end, they're useless unless you plan on spending the money to go to court. And I know that in Kentucky, that if I take her to court, then she gets access to an attorney, and that's what she wanted. And I'm not doing that.
Listen, there's so much back and forth on every side. It would be hard for anyone, us included, to win any case against basically anybody in the community. There's too much back and forth stuff. Nobody's a victim. Or 100% a victim. We've all been a victim from time to time, but we've also been the aggressors from time to time on somebody. So those cases are hard to win in the best of situations.
Yes. Well, this open. I'm trying to open this that Christy sent me.
Hey, JJ. Hey, Megan.
My God, those lives are long.
She wanted you to investigate Ken?
All right, so let's see. Hey, JJ.
I just think she didn't want nobody taking Gypsy's attention. Ken was taking some attention.
Okay, so here we go. We're going to share this. I have to go and open it back up. Hold on.
Yeah, none of us are innocent. We've all had our we've all had things said and done to us, and we've all said and done things.
Yep,
Like
absolutely.
I said, I've hurt Colleen. Like I like I said, she's an amazing person that she did forgive me, but I will never forgive myself over it.
Okay, so here's the clip that they sent me on Sir Morbid's panel. There's a whole bunch of people on this panel. So let's see, do I have the right timestamp? Let me make sure I have the right timestamp because I don't want to listen to too much of this shit. Okay.
But she was so mad with rage, she couldn't remember it. And then
Can y'all hear that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that
or I
it's your,
can.
you can't get over
Hey,
it.
is this a TikTok battle or something? What's going on?
I always wondered what a battle was on TikTok. I
Yeah,
think
can we
this
set
is
some
it.
turkey heads or something?
Threat in my life.
Oh, that's what she's told
Who's
me.
gonna give up?
Oh,
first,
really?
guys?
That's funny. Because no, she never threatened my life. I would have told her, "See you at the door, bitch. I'm always packing."
Oh, see,
Oh, so that was Fancy saying that she never threatened your life. Christy never threatened your life.
next Tuesday,
I'm
very
always
close.
Because if you come
Plus
at
one.
my
Let's see. Let's play that again.
That was fancy.
That was Fancy. See, he's playing this clip.
I must have missed it then.
Okay.
That didn't sound like fancy.
They talk while it's playing, so it's kind of hard to hear, but listen again. He's playing. It's Fancy's on panel with, I guess that's Katie Joy.
We
This
set
is
some
it.
turkey heads or something.
threat in my life.
Oh, that's what she's told
Who's
me.
gonna give up?
Oh,
first,
really?
guys?
That's funny. Because no, she never threatened my life. I would have told her, "See you at the door, bitch. I'm always packing."
Oh, see you next
Oh,
Tuesday,
I'm
very
always
close.
Because if you come
Plus
at
one.
my
If
I'm
Dinah-
always
if you said it to Dinah, she'd say, roll up and I'll be there.
Oh,
Roll up.
Dinah reference. Plus one.
in anger, but I straight up told her. I mean, I said it on a podcast.
Oh,
They straight up
podcast
asked me,
reference.
am I scared of Gypsy Rose? And I said, no, ma'am, I am not.
Oh, man.
I am in a prayer group with the DA. I am, I am
She's
a member of the
4'11".
She no fucking prayer group. Fuck you.
Of course, you wouldn't be
I was doing
afraid.
the Leanne Chewy
Plus
thing,
one.
and I'm always packing. So no, I'm not worried
She's,
about
she's
Gypsy
always
Rose.
packing.
And I live in a
Fancy's packing.
first question.
She's always packing. Yeah,
That's what
packing a
she said.
lunch, dinner, breakfast.
Talking to them about
Back in the lunch.
As much as she is clouded by hate and thrives on, I mean, like she sat for months dragging Gyp, and Gyp comes in her live one night and literally says 3 words: "You are obsessed." 3 words in and out of the live, less than 10 seconds, if that. And all of a sudden she's being harassed. And, Gypsy's the one that's doing the harassment. And it's just crazy. She sits for months dragging people. And so I said all that to say this. If Gypsy would have ever, in my opinion, would have threatened her life in the way that she said the words that Gypsy said, she would have gotten proof of that and would have turned it on Gypsy in a heartbeat and could have hurt Gypsy if it actually happened.
So Ozzy, you're here. Fancy called me to ask me because Katie Joy actually told her that you told Gypsy she didn't need therapy because writing the book was the only therapy she needed. I'm like, that's a fucking lie. Why are you believing Katie Joy?
But Gypsy's in therapy.
You're right. But that's all Katie Joy and Fancy do is fucking lie.
Did she take that movie? I don't know. I love that movie though. I'll have to go and watch it again.
Yeah, see, AK here in Texas, we're open carry. So I mean, you can have concealed carry as well, but we're open carry. I can carry wherever I want to go here. Well, unless it's 51%. If it's an alcohol facility, you're not allowed to carry. But
I know, Patty. We've all said that. How could she accuse Sarah? And Sarah is a teeny tiny woman, very ill and weak. And I don't mean weak, I mean weak in body. But and thinks she supposedly has a pow pow. But she was kidnapped.
When she told me and Kendall that, we were literally in our side texting each other going, what the fuck is she talking about right now? Are you serious? I'm like, Fancy.
And I know it's not funny to Sarah. It's
No,
real life for Sarah. But
because it's being on court documents that you're being accused of kidnapping, that's I mean, it's serious for one. And
it's serious for
funny,
Sarah.
But it is funny when you're like, you were packing, you're live streaming the whole time, and you were kidnapped. Like,
well, yeah, writing a book is like journaling. I mean, it's a good form of therapy, but it doesn't replace therapy.
and that's what I told her.
I used to journal. I love journaling. I ain't got time anymore, but I used to love journaling.
I used to. I did a lot of journaling on Facebook, and that's the stuff y'all hear Fancy talk about, the posts that I would have up, and it was dragging the fuck out of her. And I removed those posts. Well, the ones that I removed because she asked me to, and because they were upsetting to her, even though it was literally me just journaling what I was going through dealing with her crazy.
And I'll tell you something, you can if you've got a child, an adult child, like I've got an amazing relationship with my son, and I've got a good relationship with my daughter, but it's just different. Me and Amber bump heads a lot because we're so much alike. We got on Amazon mother and daughter book, and she gets a book and I get a book, and we never read what each other write, but we got them about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, and it asks the same questions, and it's about 90 pages, and it goes from childhood to adulthood, good stuff, bad stuff. And she filled hers out. It took me about 3 months to fill mine out. And then me and her had this little ceremony where we roasted marshmallows one night and threw them on the campfire. I never read what she wrote. She never read what I wrote. But that book opened up so much communication between me and her, because we would we'd be on like chapter 1 together. And it opened up communication on things that the things I never knew bothered her, and things that she never knew hurt me. So if you got an adult child that would participate in something like that you just want to make the relationship better, us burning it together, knowing that we would never read what each other wrote, but opening up that line of communication was the best therapy me and Amber could have ever done. So saying that Gypsy writing this book was a good form of therapy, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, hold on, Michelle. I'm trying to make sure I have the right answer for you, because I don't give out a lot of details on this stuff. At this moment, Gypsy and Ken are not
Christy.
At this moment, I'm just going to leave it at that part. Look, I expect it's going to happen.
There's a difference in knowing that probably down the road that
invite Christy Blanchard. So should Kendall.
I think because they did that with Entertainment Tonight, and they asked them was marriage in their future, and they both of course knowing that the plan one day is we're going to get married does not mean that there's been an official, here's the engagement ring and let's set a date. I mean, they share a child.
We were talking, I had mentioned this a little bit on Toddy's the other night when we started talking about things that I'm passionate about. And one of those is school shooters and the mental health part of that, because we grew up with guns. My kids grew up with guns. I have guns, and I'm a gun supporter. And so where do you sit, and how do you address the epidemic? It's a fucking epidemic that we have in our school systems right now with kids and mass shootings. And so that was an interesting conversation that I do want to keep diving into. I'm trying to, sorry, I got comments.
I was reading Dawn's that she's not screaming like a maniac, so it doesn't sound like her. I'm just catching up.
Yeah, and that's you have to because Morbid and them are talking too, and so it's kind of hard to catch what's being said. So you have to kind of play it a couple times. But she definitely said
Yeah,
that she never did it.
I caught it. I caught it the second time. It just didn't sound like her the first time. And they
So
talk over each other so bad.
they do. They do, and that's I think it's one reason why I don't watch a lot of their stuff is because it just drives me crazy. Like I'm just kind of like, there's too much going on, too much.
Yeah,
going on.
It works for them. It drives me nuts.
Right, Caslin. And she stayed at a hotel with her kidnapper for 5 days. Give me a break.
But she didn't know then that she was being kidnapped.
Well, I told her, I said, Fancy, like if you were to come out and say you felt like she was sabotaging you, I think people would take you serious because we could all look at it and go, well, maybe Sarah was trying to sabotage her. Like you could kind of, I could see that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I could see.
Well, you even said that to me that maybe it was sabotage, and I was like, no, it wasn't even sabotage.
Could she have been like, because you talked to her more than I did, so I was like, could it have been? I mean, it wasn't kidnapping.
Well,
come on.
I knew that there had been no reason for there to be sabotage because she had never spoken to Christy at that point.
Right.
I'm the one that got Christy and Sarah to speak. Christy didn't want to, but.
Well, and I just.
But I knew that there was no connection between Sarah and the Blanchards at all before the trip to Missouri.
Right.
So why would she have tried to sabotage it? She didn't try to sabotage it. She's just sick and went around the world to avoid the interest. I simply just believe it was that simple.
Oh, see, AK, I would love to try moose. Never, when we were in Washington State, that was the one we never did get to go hunting, and I wanted to try the moose. They were everywhere. We went riding our horses back in one of the foresty, whatever you call it, areas, and there were moose everywhere. Like they tell you how to be careful and what to watch for. It was the coolest thing ever. Yes, I had Sarah explain that to me because I'm like, why the fuck did it take y'all so long to get there? What were you doing? And she was like, I had this fear of the highways and the big trucks. And her and Kendall had a whole conversation about the big trucks. So we understood what happened.
Well, Sarah didn't know that. Sarah didn't know that was my career. I drove big truck for over 20 years. She didn't know that. And she's telling me the story. She's just downing truck drivers. And I'm like, I've done that. That was my career for 20 years. I had my own rig before I was diagnosed with cancer. I had my own rig. She's like, oh, well, which I do. I get it. Some trucks do act like they own the road. So I don't get upset when people down truck drivers. We have deadlines to make.
And
I believe the kidnapping thing was degrading to people that has literally been kidnapped and held, and the trauma that word.
I think it's very disrespectful, very disrespectful. But look, are y'all surprised? She disrespects everybody. That's why I totally did this disrespect that I just did today. And I may not be through because if she doesn't fix the shit, and if I have to fight this copyright, y'all better best fucking believe I'm digging into the trenches of what I have and I'm bringing every fucking bit of it. Now, if she goes on about her business, just leaves the rest of us alone, I'm going on about my business. Because here's the thing. I'm not fucking done with her. Done. Over. I don't ever care to have the friendship with her. I don't ever care to go back and fix things. I don't ever care to talk true crime with her. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on with the fucking cactus, you fucking cunt. There we go. Got it on my system. Feel better. Feel better.
I believe, and I've told you this before, and I've told Christy this before, that I believe she gets a wild hair and comes up with this stuff, like some of these conspiracies that she's come up with. And I believe she's got people that are her people at the time that want to either kiss up to her, or they're so blinded by fancy that she comes up with, you know what? I believe I was kidnapped. And they're in her ear saying, oh, you know what? You probably were. And this, and this. They're in her ear agging that on, but they're not the face of the person that's saying it. And she goes and announces it, and she's the one that looks crazy. But I believe there's people that surround her that they know. I just believe they know, and they just won't correct her and
Well, let
say
me tell you
no,
what, if
Fancy.
Ryan's watching this or any of you are extremely close with Ryan, I haven't messaged Ryan yet because I've just had too much going on. I have had somebody reach out to Ryan for me because they're in my circle. My circle is very small. My mods are my circle, guys. They really are. And then a few other people. I do have a few in the chat that are a part of that I trust. But Ryan needs to be careful because if she thinks that she's safe from Fancy going at her like she has the rest of us, she's not.
But Ryan knows that.
And Ryan is very dependent on her social media, and that worries me for Ryan. So Ryan, if you're listening, or if anybody clips this and sends it to Ryan, if you're listening, I am worried about you. Protect yourself. Protect yourself, because if she goes through and she hits you with 3 strikes at once and all 3 go through, they take your fucking channel. And then you have to fight it to get those lifted or wait a time period for them to even let you have the channel. If they let you have the channel back, sometimes they don't even let you do that. I mean, it's the copyright thing is not a good thing to deal with. Thank you, Bubbles. And if you got a membership from Bubbles, make sure to thank her. We're going to do a membership live this week, and you guys are going to get to pick the topic.
Ryan's not stupid. Ryan's done dealt with her before in the past. That Fancy's craziest. I think Ryan's very fancy educated.
Ozzy is one that came to me many, many times. Brandy, I'm worried about you. Please protect yourself. Please. She was terrified when I had made this piece with Fancy. And I kept telling her I'm okay because I had no high hopes for anything, guys. I have been this route with her so many times. I know how to protect myself and I know how to stand my ground. And so I wasn't worried and I wasn't giving her anything to use on me. But Bubbles is so sweet. Bubbles is a doll. I truly love her, and I am so thankful for her and Random Chick for coming into my life recently. They have been amazing. And all my other mods, 420 and JoJo and all of you guys that have been here with me for the last year of this channel's growth. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys have meant the world to me, and the only people I owe anything to are you guys. And that's what I told my members the other day. I did a membership live where I kind of explained a few things, and I told them they're really the only ones I owe any kind of explanation to. Those that are in my circle, those that I talk to, those that have supported this channel. And so past that, give no shits.
Boy, those sound like familiar words.
Shut up.
She's over there in other people's lives trying to explain herself, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, if I'm answering questions, and I don't mind, and that's why I did the live with Toddy live instead of recorded, because I'm like, look, I'm not hiding from these questions, so let them ask them. They're going to be ugly, it's fine. But if I do just a recording, then they're going to flat out say I'm hiding from shit, and so I don't mind answering the questions. I don't mind it.
Toddy's pretty cool. Toddy's cool. I'm just saying,
her and I have a good understanding.
It's just explain yourself to people that aren't even worthy to sit in your space. And I'm not referring to Toddy at all. I think Toddy's cool.
And I'm pretty much over it, and that's what I told Christy. When it comes to Gypsy's case, it's over. It's done. Nobody's going back to prison. Nobody's getting out of prison. Nothing's happening. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm sick of it. I have always said I want Gypsy to go live a normal fucking life. Go have her family. Go raise her daughter now. Go do the things that we've all done that she hasn't got to do. Go live fucking life. And she can't do that under a fucking microscope. So I'm not going to participate. I'm not.
And this is one of mine and not mine and your biggest fights, but it's one of mine and your biggest disagreements. Is I never thought Gypsy should have been on social media. And me and you would have that conversation back and forth. I'm like, if she wants a private life, get the fuck off social media. And,
yes,
she
reported me. She hit me with 2 copyrights, but YouTube denied one of them, and I'm fighting the second one.
And I believed that for the longest time, and I stuck by that just get off social media. But she did get off social media. And the haters just went and pulled shit out of freaking midair. Thin air, I should say midair. Thin air, and just made shit up. So now I'm 100% in. Gypsy, do your social media. I'm right there with you. I'm going to share. I'm going to like. I'm going to call me in. I'm going to do everything to boost it.
So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to get. And I've said this a couple of times, and I know I keep coming back and doing lives, and so y'all are like, "Yeah, I thought you said you were done." I am done, but I am going to continue to address shit that needs to be addressed. So if she fucking keeps coming for me, y'all be ready, because it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again if she does it, because I'm not running from her, and I'm not playing with her. I'm flat out fucking done. I asked Dave the other day, I'm like, babe, do you really think I should do this? And I had talked to Kendall. I had talked to the other mods. Kendall and I have had a lot of conversation about this. He says, babe,
I didn't want her to do it
a long time ago. I think you should have. He wanted me to, because he is so done with how she attacks and how she goes and the things. He can't even stand to hear her voice talk. Like he used to hate Natasha that way, and now he's like, Fancy is like 10 times worse than Natasha. Like, he can't stand her.
I just have this thing about what's said in secret, whether you're friends or you turn into enemies, should be kept in secret.
Marissa,
like
April's not going after Ryan, but I don't put it past her to go past after Ryan if Ryan stands against her in any way. And she does enforce the boundaries, and so that does only last for so long. Just saying. I know from experience. Let's see. And I need Kendall to not work so much so Kendall can help me do some AI, because I got some AI done.
I'm still sitting in the office. I'm waiting for somebody to come by on the door. They think I'm finishing payroll.
Cheater.
I have finished payroll. I'm sitting here, but
no, Veda is not friends with April at all. When April made friends with Katie Joy and she kind of went sideways at Veda, Veda turned on her quicker than shit.
So I never liked Veda at all. She always and I didn't like Veda, because of the defending Fancy when it was kind of obvious where Fancy was going, and I have a different view of Veda now than I did then.
You softened. You have softened.
I have against with Veda. I just didn't like some of the things she put up, which I believe that Veda believed what she put up of Fancy's was real. I don't think Veda put something up that she knew was not true. Talking about the forged document. I think Veda knew that was true, but because I told Sarah over and over, Sarah was saying that, Veda's mom. I was like, you do Veda, I'm done. I put all that time into being there with Sarah and trying to comfort her and everything. And she's like, Veda's wanting me to do a live. I'm like, I've warned you about Veda. She's going to defend Fancy. And that's just the impression I got. That's where Veda was going, was defending Fancy. I was like, you're going to eat you alive over there. You go to Veda's, I'm out. I'm done. But, and then after I guess Veda went and did a live, Sarah was telling me how Veda was a liar. And then she sits over there on that live the other day just kissing Veda's ass, where I've got text messages of her calling Veda a liar.
Can I send that text message to Veda?
Oh, I don't care.
Okay.
I ain't got no secrets. Like, I thought I had lost all those text messages. When I told you I can't back up anything I'm saying, because you know how I do. I delete all the text messages. But they were still in my cloud.
I told you they were. I'm trying to find.
Well, I don't know. My phone doesn't have a lot of storage left on it, so I get rid of things that I don't think I'll ever need again. But no, I didn't support Veda. I thought Veda was very naive to Fancy, was defending Fancy, and then she tried coming over defending Fancy against that young girl with her, like she said in that live that night that she came in our live in the chat that Fancy can't help who sends her money, but so that was the impression I've got of Veda. But I definitely have a different opinion after I listened to you and said, give it a chance.
Marissa, I don't know much. To be honest, I'm probably not, and she is blocked from here. I meant to go and block her. I blocked her the last time because she came in here being a shit, and I just wasn't playing. I do think she's been all over. So, but I mean, she supposedly is sick and struggling, and I mean, she does pop in all over from what I have seen.
I'm telling you, I fought cancer for 18 months and I couldn't even pick up my phone most of the time. So she's got to be doing pretty well with hers to be able to have the energy and these lives and stuff. Because most of the time during my treatment, I couldn't even lift my head off the pillow. Most of the time, I was in the floor of the bathroom.
Yes, Ty, she has people in here. I know she does. She's watching herself. She can't help herself.
Oh, okay, Chrissy. I found them. Brittany, I told her that I had deleted all my text messages except just certain people's. I didn't think I'd ever need them again, and Sarah's was one of the ones I deleted. But and I had proof of some of the lies that she told, and I was trying to go find them. I was like, remember, I deleted everything. I can't even prove she's lying because I can't prove that we only gave her what would she say 1 hour to get
Couple
text
hours or
messages.
something like that.
Yeah. Where I've got messages and messages weeks and weeks before me telling her, I need proof. I can't defend you without proof. But I didn't have anything to prove I had said that to her because I had deleted everything. But Brandy's like, well, did you delete your cloud? And I'm like, I got a cloud?
I was just like, yeah, you go to
And I do.
It's all backed up.
Listen, I have stuff from 2017 in that cloud.
Oh, I do too. So unless you're like me and the cloud's completely full and I refuse to pay the extra storage because it's fucking expensive. Yeah, now I don't. Now it doesn't save the current stuff, just the old stuff. And so you have to go back into the iCloud. You have to go delete all the shit. And it's a pain in the ass. And I just never take. I sat down one day and spent like 2 hours. I'm like, okay, I can't do this.
All the AIs that I did of Fancy that I had took down and deleted, I have all those. Those were in there.
Do you? Oh, that stuff needs to all go back up. I'm just saying.
No, I said I wouldn't.
I didn't say I wouldn't. So can I have them? Just kidding. Not really.
I just thought I had lost all that.
So we are working on a case. I want to touch on the Emily Pike case that has happened. And Rebrand, who isn't here tonight or this afternoon, asked me to do a case. And it was one I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to talk about that one. Somebody mentioned, oh my God, yep, got to do that. So we're going to do that one. And another case that I found extremely interesting is, and it's on, I believe, Peacock. But it's the little girl Amber, which is how the Amber Alert got started. That story is amazing. It's sad, heartbreaking, but it's just neat to hear how it comes.
Is it Amanda? Is it Amber Brown?
I think.
This is the very first case that I ever watched in true crime. Was Amber Brown, and Nancy Grace was still with Court TV, and she was, the main, whatever you want to call her.
Yes,
and
Ty,
it was,
we need to do Lacey Spears, Ty. You need to come up and we'll do Lacey Spears. Random Chick says, you can tell these are some Gen Xers on the chat. We don't trust anyone. I think Mac is taking a break, Marissa. And I can't blame her. This is a lot for anyone. Been there, done that. But there was another one. Oh, has anybody watched the new, it just came out Friday, the Dateline episode with Lori Vallow, Daybell? If you have,
Yeah.
does she not look more insane than what we thought she was? Like, oh my God. Oh, like she's laughing and refusing to answer questions and all over the place and deflecting and like, cool. The Zara case. I'll have to, did you, Inside the Purple Purse, did you ask me to do that one once before? I think you did. I need to make a whole list, and I'm going to get the mods to help me with this and put it in our Discord so that I can keep up with case ideas because I lose them when people send them to me. Yes,
I'm
she
back.
is. Lori Vallow is in a whole fucking universe. Like, she's talking about the universes they've been in love and like together, and the fact that she blames Tylee for killing JJ and then taking her own life. Like, bitch, fuck you. Oh my God. Yeah, they couldn't even show much. Could you imagine what they didn't show? How bad it was? Like, you could see Keith Morrison's face. Like, he's kind of like laughing it off. Like, oh, this is the craziest interview I've ever done. And I am hurt, y'all. She is now defending herself in this next case. This is going to be a shit show from hell. I'm there for it. I am watching that one. It's on. If I can stream it, I'm streaming it. Stepmommy sold her. I'll have to look that one up. Yes, she said she knew her and Chad would be exonerated because she had a vision when she went to heaven of the future and they weren't in prison. It's because y'all will be dead and not in heaven. I don't know. God has strange ways and he may forgive them. I can't say that. There's going to be people in heaven we don't expect to see there. But, I mean, when you go to heaven, then you're not in prison. So, I'm just saying. Yes, Nana, I am planning on talk about that. The Frankie case. I've got the documentary saved so I can go watch it. Tonight is 1923 and American Idol. So can't beat tonight. And tomorrow night is Gypsy Show. I know that some of y'all aren't supporters. I'm going to be watching it. I hope y'all go watch it. Make your own opinion up. Don't judge off other people's bullshit. Judge by watching it yourself. Yeah, God's not going to pardon them. He's not pardoning them. Let me take a picture of that one too, Ty, because I don't think I've heard of that one. But there will be more drama on this channel because I am part of Chroma and I'm might as well just stay there. Chroma universe is absolutely insane. Look, Natasha was live last night. I missed it. Of course, I was sitting here falling asleep and went to bed early because I had been up way early because Joby got sick in his kennel. And that's a fun thing when a German Shepherd gets sick in his kennel and you have to clean that at 2:00 in the morning and then he's continuing to get sick all day. It was bad. And so I was tired last night. And so I'm watching it. I was told about it a while ago. And so I click it and I'm watching it. I'm like, oh my God, it was a total reunion. Comment on there. I missed the reunion. All of the people back over there talking about how bad the Chroma universe is. It's just crazy. Well, Christy, make sure you give the baby snuggles from Auntie B. And the Stephen Avery case. And so that's another one that there's a lot of controversy with that. Like I'm torn. 1 minute I think he's innocent. Next minute I'm like, maybe he's not. So I would like to do a deep dive open discussion on that and just kind of go all around it and see what everybody's thinking. So what they broke down on Kendall, are you watching the Brian Kohlberger stuff at all for the Idaho 4?
I've seen a little bit of it.
So the DNA that they're finding under their fingernails. Here's the thing: why they're wanting all of this done is it was inconclusive to Brian Koberger. That doesn't mean it wasn't his. What it means was there were so many mixes of DNA that they can't say who, but they're not saying what DNA. They don't say if it's blood DNA or skin DNA. And they were at a bar or party or whatever it was that night. So they were around a lot of people and touching people. And so there's going to be DNA there. So they just can't confirm whether or not it's his or not. There was a total mix of different DNA. So it was inconclusive. So I don't think that that's going to affect that any. And I think at this point, they did ask for a deal from what I was reading the other day, and the families do not want a deal because they want him to confess. And so I think that I wish that I wish they would take a deal. I'm not going to lie, because I think that going through this trial is going to be extremely hard for them. And that worries me for those families because that was a gruesome, gruesome, gruesome crime. Yes, Mummy Brown. There, and like I caught one of Queen Chroma bitch over there, my ex-friend, running with DNA being a totally different man's, and that wasn't what the fuck they said. And so
Did you ever have any problems with her after you did that live?
she won't mention my name. Wonder why. I mean, Kim was on our panel and kind of didn't mention my name, but did say a few things. I don't know if Kim's watching or not. And so they have a long-standing beef with Granny's watching, and I understand that. But you can't take a beef with one person and ignore facts and what's going on. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. I don't necessarily agree with Granny's watching either. But it's not a RICO case. Ain't a fucking RICO case. And let's face it, the dad's been gross, period. I don't think he's guilty of hurting his child or taking the boy off, but he's gross, period. And the funeral, oh my God. Did I tell you what they said, what he said at the funeral?
Whose funeral?
Not funeral, sorry. It was a vigil. They had a vigil for Sebastian.
Okay. Like,
and it was like, come across like a memorial service. Like, I've never seen people like this. And he literally called the angel of death to come down upon him. The angel of death. Yes, he did. I'm like, I don't understand any of this. It was so weird, the whole thing. So, AK, did you not see where me and Kendall did the Alaskan Avenger? We did do his case. We did cover his case.
I talked to his sister for a little while.
Yes, and I love him. Now he did get in a little bit of trouble after he got out because he went kind of hard for people. So he kind of got slapped on the wrist, went back in for a little bit, and he's back out. So he does have to be a little careful. Felix, no, it was the other way around. She had it last night. I'm looking because I'm kind of. Hold on. See, I don't know who did she put that out? I don't know. I struggle with what they did with Brandon on the Lord. We are all over in the chat, guys. Y'all are all over the place. With Brandon Dassey in the Stephen Avery case, I struggle with how they did him because that really was a child and needed another advocate in there. He was underage, and he seriously is not. all there. He's low IQ. He is really bad, and so he should have had an advocate in there. I do not think that boy should be in prison at all. For one, Kendall's at work, and she doesn't have to show her face if she don't want to. Well, we might ought to do a Stephen Avery deep dive open panel where we can just come up. People can come up and open talk the case. That would be fun. I don't know, guys. I'll have to look into it. All right, guys. Well, it is that time of the evening. Well, we love you too, Amy. I need to go feed animals, and yeah, people on here get ugly. I wanted my face on here tonight because I was going to talk some trash. Might as well be on here.
Sorry, I'd take care of something. I was muted.
You're fine. Somebody asked why you never showed your face on camera. I might have got snarky.
I'm old and got gray hair.
Well, and you're at work right now, so it's you need to protect where you're at. But I do need to hop off and go feed critters, and I've got chickens coming out the ears. The eggs are hatching, and I've got babies I'm raising, and the big guys outside, and one of my silkies, y'all, the young ones that I have that I've been showing pictures of, I have two with attitude. One that pecks me every fucking time I put my hand in the thing, like pecks the shit out of me. And then one today, I was cleaning out their brooder, and so I had the other brooder nice and clean, and I was taking them out, put him in there. And when I reach in to grab him, he literally grabs me right here and hangs on like a little alligator, just hangs on. I'm like, dude, fucking attitude adjustment fixing to happen. Yeah, I've got mean little silkies with their little fucking attitudes. But if you have a case you want us to talk about, email me or leave it in a comment. And we are putting cases together. We are fixing to rock and roll, kick ass, and take names and put some content out. I'm gonna have to buy chicken from you with these egg prices. Like my ducks produce way more eggs than my chickens. And Dean is now making more eggs, so hers are in the incubator.
You're gonna have to put Bubbles on pyro.
I know Bubbles is on it. I'll add her to the Blanchard payroll.
You won't get paid because I still ain't got my damn frog legs.
Evidently, we're getting crawfish and frog legs in May, so I don't.
I ain't eating no crustaceans.
You have to try at least one.
I'm not eating crustaceans. I'm not eating anything that you put in your aquarium to clean up the poop.
You don't do that with them?
With shrimp?
Not with crawfish.
What do you think they eat?
Mud.
What's in the mud, Brandy?
I don't know. I'm making shit up.
I don't eat nothing that.
I will peel
There's
it.
very little seafood that I'll eat.
I did this. We did this. This was when I was in Kentucky. We went to eat. Ken got convinced Tori to try shrimp, and she had never eaten shrimp. She was terrified of it, was afraid to peel it. So I literally am sitting there peeling shrimp for Tori to make her try it. I will peel them for you so you can try them.
No.
Try at least one. Yes.
No, I can't even stand to smell it cooking.
Oh, love the smell. Love the smell.
Only thing that I will eat, and I shouldn't say crustaceans because I like king crab legs. Dipped in butter garlic.
What do you think crab eat?
Huh?
What do you think crabs eat?
I'm eating their legs. Y'all eat the whole shrimp body.
It ain't any different.
And I said I would eat it. It's not necessarily my favorite stuff, but if I'm going to eat anything, I'll eat that. I won't eat lobster.
Oh,
I had bear the
I
other
eat
night.
all. I won't eat clams and I won't eat oysters. I don't like any of that. No.
I'm not eating none of that.
The rest of it,
There's
absolutely, we'll go there. Mm-hmm.
very little fish that I'll eat.
Felix says, for me, I'm not eating anything with eyeballs or that isn't cooked.
There you go.
But how
Who
do you
said that?
eat steak? How do you eat steak? Because it had eyeballs at one time.
But it ain't got eyeballs on it when
Well,
you're
the
eating it.
oysters don't have eyeballs on it when I pop the head off.
Well, I'm not popping the moo cow's head off.
See, that is the one thing about Alaska that I would absolutely love. I would love to go do the fishing and all of the things because they have some amazing stuff over there. Yeah, I think it would be fun because I see a lot of people talking about different. Because for me, I don't have a solid opinion on it on that one, and so I think a fun open panel discussion, roundtable kind of thing about Avery would be fun. That would be fun.
Thanks, Bubbles.
Bubbles, thank you for gifting memberships. And if you got a membership, make sure to thank Bubbles. We'll have a membership live this week. You guys get to pick the topic. We had fun with the Jack the Ripper. So I kind of would like to start digging into all of the different suspects and talking about why they were a suspect. That would might be fun. And members only.
I want you to do that case, and I don't even know the name, but it's an old case. I think it's an 1800s case where the guy was a doctor and he had a boarding house that he rented out, and he would let women and children stay there, and he ended up doing all kinds of experiments in the basement with them. They just come up missing. But I don't know who that is. I can't remember the name, but I've watched
I have
the documentary.
another one that I want to do they're considered like the first serial killers, and it kind of popped up in my feed because of Yellowstone, because I'm such a huge Yellowstone fan. And it was like through that era and area as well.
Yeah, that's it. Holmes.
I have
he had
that case.
He had a big building.
Padre Island is my home, guys. That is where I'm. Well, not originally from. I'm originally from Dallas, but I spent more time in Padre Island. And when Dave brought me to Galveston, I laughed at him and I said, "Where's the real beach, babe?" And he's like, "This is the beach." I'm like, "This isn't a beach," because I grew up at Padre Island. Like, sorry, sidetracked with comments.
No, it's fine. I lose track when you interrupt me and read comments. I forget what I was talking about. I was going to say something, but I can't remember.
We're talking about H.H. Holmes.
Oh, yeah. I forget. I don't remember if the house, it was like, it wasn't a hospital because he rented the rooms out. And there was a reason why mothers and children were, I don't know if the men were in war somewhere or I don't remember that part of the story, but there was a reason why he rented the rooms out to young mothers with children.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it.
I mean, it was hundreds of deaths. And when they busted him, they found all of his experiments in the basement.
The murder castle.
Yep. It was a huge, nice, beautiful building. Brick building.
I'm going to look it up.
There's a documentary on it.
Okay, then.
I think it was 1800.
List of cases.
And what I was trying to tell you a while ago before you read another comment was that first case I watched where Nancy Grace did it. That Amanda Brown case was stepdad or mom's boyfriend killed her, and they think because her body was never found, and he was a crabber, and they think he put her body in the crab cage.
Oh wow!
But it It was one of the first. Her name is Amanda Brown, and Amber was her age. Like they were the exact same age. So that case has always stuck with me. Bubbles, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it.
I was reading that going, well, she really is fixing to lose it.
Blue crab is okay. Yeah, blue crab's good. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. I buy shrimp to put in the bottom of the aquariums to help clean all the algae and
So,
fish food.
Mummy Brown says, H.H. Holmes had a micro dick legit. Adam Seltzer is a Chicago historian that found his jail doctor's paperwork. Now we can go to sleep better tonight knowing he had a micro penis.
That part wasn't in the documentary. What is that song? Itty bitty, teeny weeny.
Oh, thank you, Into the Weeds. We'll do that one. I am definitely going to start covering some missing kids. That Emily Pike case has got me heated because there are 30, which Random was telling me that's really not uncommon. But there are 30 missing teenagers from this one home in 3 years. That to me is an insane number. And nobody's talking about it because they're indigenous and it bothers me. So I want to start covering those. And, Sebastian Rogers needs the attention. I get it. I'm not trying to take away from that, but so do these other kids. Now, we've been a year with Sebastian Rogers missing, and thousands of lives on this boy, and we hear nothing about these others. And that bothers me. And I'm a small channel. So, but all I can do if I'm going to complain about it, I need to do something about it. So I'm going to start doing it. I'll start sharing and start. We're still talking about critters eating stuff.
Mm-hmm. We're just going to get pizza and let y'all pop all the crustaceans y'all want. Christy thinks she's going to make me eat all that stuff. I ain't eating that stuff.
And look, I can.
She loves to send pictures of that stuff.
I can eat my weight in crawfish. I used to be able to eat my weight in crawfish. I can't anymore with this weight loss stuff. I'm like, I used to go and we'd go to the restaurant and I'm doing 5 pounds and now I order 3 and can't finish it. So I'm like, that's kind of sad, but not really, because your girl's lost 106 pounds. So it's not bad, but I do miss eating my crawfish. I do miss eating my crawfish. And y'all, I have a funny story, a cute story for y'all about my grandson, Jason, that was over the other night. Yes, I'm a classic crime fan. I like all of the old stuff. And it tends to what I don't do a lot of the new stuff because I don't want to risk spreading misinformation on new cases. That bothers me. But they were over the other night. They come to visit and he says, Gammy, you've lost a lot of weight. You look really good. And I said, thanks, Bubba. Gammy's working hard and we're talking about it. He says, I don't think I've ever seen you this skinny. And I'm like, no, baby, I haven't been this skinny since before Cree was born, which is my son. He calls my son Cree. And Chris is 28 years old and he's like, oh, that's a long time, Gammy. And I'm thinking, well, shit, fixing to kick you. But he ain't wrong, And then he says, Gammy, your shirt's too big, right? And I said, yes, Bubba, because it's expensive to buy all new clothes. And I like this shirt. It says Gammy on it. And it's a leopard heart and says Gammy. And I, I like to rock being a Gammy for my babies. And he says, and I said, so I need a new shirt. And he goes, noted. And I'm like, you little shit. His mom's like, thanks, Mom. Now I'm buying a new shirt. And I'm like, yes, I need new clothes. Buy me new clothes. I do love Face of the Forgotten's channel. They have a lot of neat content. I get lost in their stuff. Okay,
did JoJo say she was going live?
I think so because I told her I would come up over there and help her. JoJo was dealing with some other bullies over on TikTok, and we're going to they fuck that to them too. Bubbles and Random, can y'all make sure to grab those things that everybody's throwing in there for me to talk about, please, and throw it in Discord? I'm gonna have to make several little things so we can. They're helping me get organized, Kendall. They're helping me get organized because
I appreciate it, girls, because I literally had 81 hours on my check last week.
was like, Kendall was trying, and now she went to work. She had to go to work, and how dare her have to go to work and support herself?
But let me tell you, I paid off all my credit. What was it? 2 weeks ago? 3
Yeah.
weeks ago? I paid off. Like
Hold on, guys.
I was diagnosed in April of 2021. I went through chemo for 18 months and then a couple of months of radiation. Well, a month of radiation, and then months and months and months of not working and just, learning to be alive again. So I really racked up credit card debt. And I think it was 3 weeks ago, I paid everything off, zero, straight across the board. I am so proud of myself. I was so excited. I texted Brady. I was like, guess what I just did? When I paid the last payment.
I'm so proud of you, because that is a big deal. I need to get ours paid off because.
Well, you remember how hard it was when I first went back to work. I hadn't worked since 2021.
Yeah, you struggled, and I mean your health ain't okay either.
Mm-hmm. I still struggle with my foot.
That's why when Fancy whines about not being able to drive and not being able to work, fuck you. You're just fucking lazy. I'm going to live off the state. You lived off Kentucky through COVID. Kentucky paid them well to not work and all of those things. And she got a new desk, got a new computer, and new mic stuff, and new recording stuff, and all of that stuff with all that money, but got evicted because she didn't pay her rent. Go figure.
I was driving truck in 2020 during the pandemic, and I would go into New York City and New Jersey and all the other when it was the worst of the worst. Trucks didn't get to stop.
Jojo is on TikTok. Ellen Dragon, do you have TikTok? She's working on getting over here. We're going to work on getting her channel built. If you have TikTok, let me. Oh, that was interesting.
What are you listening to?
It was a video.
Goodness gracious.
I'm getting it. Hold on. I hear you, Bodie. Give me just 1 second. Copy link. There it is. There is JoJo's TikTok, guys. But I gotta get, if y'all, I don't think y'all can hear it, but they're in there whining, and they have already pooped their kennels yesterday twice. Don't know what's wrong with my dogs. I think it's all the rain because they drink out of the ditch, because they'll have a full clean water bowl and still go to the ditch. And I think their tummies are just upset. I don't want to have to clean kennels again tonight. So, but you guys have a great week. I will be live. I got a membership live I need to do this week, and then we'll do a case this week. So let me figure out some times and some dates and what'll work. And Dave's out of town, so I have more free time. Something about the man being home and wanting dinner. I don't know. I have to do wifely things when he's home. But he's possibly got a promotion and raise. So we'll see. It's a 15% raise if he got it. We'll know in the next couple of weeks. So I'm kind of excited. But anyways, you guys have a great one and enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening and have a safe week. And see y'all again. And Fancy, fuck you. It's on, bitch. Told you. Don't play.
Have a good one.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible.